Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday here. We've got some stuff to talk about here today, and I've got some great guests getting ready to come back and talk about this as we move along later on into the show. But before we get to my great guests, and I do have a great panel coming up here, we've got to sit back and talk, and all I've got to say is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. is the President of the United States. A guy who could barely string together a sentence, a guy who could barely get out of his basement to come campaign, is now the president. And, you know, for the most part, when the inauguration happened, we all thought that, Elaine and I joked about this over on the Red Ned Show. Those of you who are regular watchers of that program will know. We were sitting back and joking left and right about that, about the fact that the news media is going to go to sleep at this point. They're just going to go away. You're not going to hear anything from them. You're not going to see anything from them. You're not going to see anything come back up out of this here. However, we got a big surprise this week on that, and I think that notion has been shot, shattered, and gone completely away at this point. So we're going to talk about that. But what we're here to talk about today is what we see life is, what it's going to be like under a Biden presidency, what it is that we're going to see, what we're going to do, how we're going to survive through this, and you know what's actually going to happen off of this. Before we get into the big part of the monologue, I want to shout out a couple of the wares here and tell you everything that's going on here. First and foremost, my great panel. Our hearts go out to Casey, who was supposed to be here today, who mysteriously wound up in a personal situation. I'm not going to go too far into detail. She asked me to keep it for the most part under wraps, but it's pretty big, and it happened to another friend of the show a couple months ago himself too. So unfortunately, we keep her in our prayers, and we keep her in our thoughts as well. And hopefully she pulls through this very, very quickly. And the other woman that was supposed to be here today wound up getting pulled back to work at the last minute last night. I found out about that at about 20 to 1 this morning. That is on Central Time as well. So this isn't a paying gig, and we're going into a depression right now, or a dempression, as you will. So I can't really blame her for wanting to take the money right now. So that's all well and good. And we've got a couple of other panelists that popped in here. Our panelists tonight are going to be the R-rated conservative, Mr. Behavior, Stephen Ignoramus, and Robert from the Generational Gap. It's going to be a great conversation there. But let's talk, and let's actually sit down and figure out what this is going to be coming up here. So, I mean, we all knew this was coming here, and we all got the sense this was going to come after Election Day. And I think Election Day was a shock for a lot of people. I really do think it was. But I was really 50-50 on what was going to come out of Election Day. I knew it was going to be really, really tight no matter what. I didn't think that Biden was going to be able to pull it off. And, we sat back and I watched what little bit of Seawall's face you can actually see, because he's always wearing the face gear whenever he's on this channel. But the color drain out of what little bit of Seawall's face we could see. And you could just see him becoming demoralized off of this as more and more states turned, and as we went to bed and realized that we had no idea what was coming up, and we woke up to this dark reality that all of a sudden those numbers just jumped up in the middle of the night, and next thing you know, we've got the Electoral College victory for Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. And all the challenges went through, and God bless the challenges for going through at this point. I mean, the president did what presidents have not done forever. And what I really think that Hillary Clinton wishes that she could have done at the time is sit back and challenge all of this. Unfortunately, she did sit back and concede. She actually came out and said, "Oh, I lost," and then spent the rest of time saying, "Oh, well, I really won, but it was Russia, and then I really lost anyway." So Trump fought it out to the very, very bitter end. And we learned a lot about how the government works and what things could be do. I mean, if you ask some of the progressives out there who were watching this with great hope, you sit here and you think that, oh, well, it's just a simple majority, and if 51% or 50.1% even, that low, of the country wants one person to be president, that means that that person is president for life. I think some of them are starting to think that this is what's going to happen. Well, in Biden's case, it might actually be for life because, old man's not doing real well. So he actually might be president for life at this point. It's just his life and his constituents' life are going to be two very, very different things. But we've noticed a few things right away, and we've noticed some of the things that are coming in. First and foremost, we are looking at a position right now, and this is the big important part, and this is why I want to get the panel together and talk to them about what's going to happen here. The most important thing to remember about this is what happened in the lead up to this and what happens whenever Democrats come into office, and that is the fact that we are probably most likely going into a depression. And in all honesty, I think that some of the red roses and some of the libertarians and even some of the Republicans out there in the motherland are actually going to try and help fuel it along. They want to wreck this country for Biden. But that is one thing to keep in mind is, first and foremost, the odds are most likely that we are going into a depression. We saw states shut down their economies for no other reason other than it was politically convenient. Now, the Donald took a very, very hands-off approach coming into this, but we did see the states shut the economies down. They put them aside, and they put their people out of work to come in. And now we're looking at the fact that now we want to tax some of these businesses out of existence. We want to push healthcare through them. And the $15 an hour minimum wage, some of these jobs were barely getting by as it was. And now they want to put more undue burden on some of the little guys. Sure, you're always going to be able to go out and get your job at Walmart or one of the massive big companies out there. But all the small businesses, which are employing massive swaths of people in every single state in the union, are starting to go out of business left and right. I mean, even some of the big corporate ones. I took a trip down through Janesville today, realizing that the Potbelly's is gone. Several of the small restaurants around me, they're gone. The Who Hot, one of my favorite chain restaurants to go to, is gone. You can't go to Who Hot anymore in Janesville. I think it's still open in Madison. Don't quote me on that. I try not to spend money in Dane County if I can avoid it. But I think it's still open in Madison. But the one in Janesville, the one right down the road from where I am in the next town over, is gone. It's just, they shut it down. And they just opened the thing too. And these are big corporate chains. I'm not talking about your little burger joint that's owned by a guy who just moved to town and wanted to strike it rich. We're not talking about the little mom and pop grocery store down the road where you want to go out and get a couple canned goods and wave and smile to the guy that's just trying to scrape out a living, either in a retirement or trying to strike it big as well. Those places are gone too. I've seen car dealers go under. I've seen various different other kinds of stores go under. Craft stores go under. We're seeing a lot of this stuff go under. So one of the big things that I want to note as we come into this is make sure that you've got a backup plan and make sure that you've got the ability to make money. Now, that was one of the mistakes that I made in the last crash, and it's put me in a position where I'm a little bit behind right now as it is. I mean, I can look back at my situation and think to myself, if I'd just got into the industry that I'd gone to school for just a year earlier, I'd probably be way higher on the horse right now. But I was not able to take the hand that was dealt to me and work with it with any sort of reason. I got the short end of the stick on that particular instance, unfortunately. And I want to make sure that all of my listeners don't come into the same thing. I want to make sure that everything is above board for you guys and that you're ready to go. I think I might have forgot to link one person into this. I want to double check something here. Make sure I've got all of my guests getting ready to come in. I did forget to link into him. He tells me oh no, I did link it to him. Okay. He says, am I streaming to YouTube right now? I see people on YouTube. I see people talking. So, possibly. Okay, I am going to YouTube. So, that's all good. That's all well and good. Anyway, yeah, I got kind of the short end of the stick as far as the economy went. And, I didn't do well with it. But I want to make sure you guys don't get the same instance. I want to make sure that everybody's ready to go. So, and we talked about this on the call-in show last week too. Like Saint said when he called in both times, make sure that you've got something that's marketable. I am going back and getting the medical card so I can use my CDL again. Not because I want to go out and drive for a living, but just in case. That's the only thing that's available. Because no matter what, the trucking companies are always going to need people to transport equipment and product around the country. No matter how bad the economy gets, they're always going to need people to run that around. And I have a CDL. I just don't have the medical card. So I'm going to go back and get that. So just in case worse comes to worse and the business that I work for folds up and Freedom Scoop folds up at the same time, I can jump in a truck and continue to feed myself. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. Plus, I'm also in the process of taking real estate licensing exams. I'm going through that process because when people either foreclose on their homes or if they do get some upward mobility and decide to move or downsize in the other direction because the depression is coming, I want to be right there and be able to facilitate the sale for that. And that's another passive thing I can have in the background where I can use that if something else were to come up. Now, when we were sitting back and wondering whether or not it was going to be Donald or Biden back in late October, early November, and even through the legal challenges, I was already going down that path, but I was hoping that I could quit my current 40-hour-a-week job and just go and sell houses for a living, therefore focusing more time on Freedom Scoop. As of right now, I'm going to be a little bit more adverse about quitting my current 40-hour-a-week job. I'm probably not going to do that now until I at least know where the market's going to go and where I can for sure get some of my income from, because it's there. And they like me there. They really do. I've worked myself to the end. That's probably the reason that I have so much trouble getting up in the morning for Contemporary, but I've worked myself to a point where they really, really like having me there, because then they don't have to do some of the crap stuff, because I'll work circles around them. And that's one of the other things too. If you can do anything at all to possibly cement yourself in the job that you're at, where they'll look to somebody below you or somebody else who isn't quite working as hard, do that. Make yourself irreplaceable. You're going to need it, because cuts are going to come. And the boss is going to start looking for somebody to cut to. So that's another thing to pay attention to as we go along. Oh, we got another guest coming in here. We got one more to pop in, and about 15 more minutes of monologue here, and then we will get to the guest portion of this. So that's the big thing. Make yourself marketable. Learn a trade if you don't know anything else. And I mean, this might get me thrown off YouTube. Hell, I'm streaming to Periscope, and this might get me thrown off Twitter. But hell, learn to code if you don't know how to already. That's another thing that I've been doing a little bit in the background, playing around with C++. And I know that's a language that's barely used anymore, but it's a good starter language. It's a good one to get to know how things work and how to do things. So learn another skill, just in case your industry dries up and you've got to go try to find something else. I mean, in today's web world, coding is always going to be there too. It may not be the kind of thing you want to do. You may not want to sit in a desk and look at lines of code, but worst comes to worst, it'll pay well and it'll keep you fed. That's the big thing. Now, going into things like arts, music, banking is going to be a hard one too, because that's going to be the first place that everybody wants to go the banks have the money to go out and pay. Don't hedge your bets on going into banking or accounting right now, because everybody's going to be in line in front of you. And I'm going to say the same. This is one of the mistakes that I made because I went to school for auto repair. Don't hedge your bets on auto repair, because that is every guy's backup job. And that market is going to be so flooded. If we do go into this depression, that market's going to be so flooded, nobody's going to want to hire you. And if they are, it's going to be as close to minimum wage as they can possibly get you with your skill set. And a lot of the other things too. Watch out. If recruiters start calling you under a depression, watch out for that. Definitely watch out for that. Because a lot of the times they're looking to get you in for a 90-day contract, saying that they'll hire you at the end. They'll can your ass at 85 days, and then they don't have to pay your health insurance or your unemployment. Another trap that they like to do. So there's a lot of things to watch. And what's nice about where we're coming from, where we're coming into right now, is the fact that we did just have a crash back in 2009. So a lot of us have experience with this and know what to do. A lot of people in the millennial generation especially never got off the ground off of that. They never really got that real job. A lot of them are still working. There are people my age that are still working as a barista at Starbucks. Would you believe that right now? In spite of the fact that we had 7 million unfilled jobs in this country, there were a lot of people my age that were doing that because they felt that, well, they made themselves irreplaceable first off, but they felt there was job security there. They were making decent enough money, I guess, to stick around, and they just decided to stick around. Those are the jobs that are going to get picked up and plucked up right away too. So definitely some things to watch there. Now, as far as what's coming back out of the government, I mean, we're looking at what's coming out of the government right now. We're looking at the Great Equity Executive Order, which I don't think is legal, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of this is going to be going out and trying to kneecap people who have had it too good for too long. And we're seeing some of that too. You're going to see taxes going up. Make sure that you've got your taxes in order. Make sure that you're getting enough taken out if you do decide, if you work in a position where you're hourly and your taxes automatically get pulled out from each paycheck. Make sure that you've got enough sitting there to cover, because as they keep going up, and as they tinker with the tax code every year, you're going to get a surprise bill at the end of the year when you're probably used to getting a refund at some point. So go into your HR office or wherever you get your W-4 from, and fill that back in. Take that extra exemption out of there. Even if you've got kids, take one of those exemptions out of there just to make sure you've got enough there to buffer, because that's the hard one to get back in. You waited till the last minute. You're on April 14th. All of a sudden you realize now, because of the new spending, the new debt, the new printing that they did, and more that they're spending on giving health care to people. Oh, all of a sudden, hey, it's April 15th and you owe $2,300 and you're living hand to mouth as is. That sucks. That fucking blows. So make sure you've got yourself covered in that. Use the government's information to your favor. Use what they have to try and buffer yourself up a little bit, because that's definitely going to be the way to go with this. Some other things to watch for on this, and some other things to watch for as to what's going on. First off, pay attention to your local politics, because there are some things coming up here, as well as people who are going out and trying to stand up to the government as so it was. Missouri is just passing laws to try and nullify Uh, Firearms Acts. I have an article waiting to talk about on Monday morning for Contemporary, and probably on the Red Ned Show too, where Missouri is trying to force their own in-state patrols to not enforce federal gun laws because some of them are so draconian and they are unconstitutional. So watch where the wind is going on your particular state as well. There are so many other things that you could be doing right now because there are. I mean, we can weather this. And there's a very good chance that we sit back in another gridlock here in 2 years. So hunkering down for a couple years and waiting to see what the government does. Now, of course, if it gets bad because of the fact that Democrats have all three chambers of the House and they love to tax. Now, I'm not trying to call them evil by any means, but they do love to tax. Keep that in mind. They love to tax, and that is going to affect the way that industry runs. And it is going to make it harder for your smaller business to come up and try to compete. Another big one too, and I mean, I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. But if somehow or some way you happen to hear about an opportunity where you can get some cash under the table, well, I wouldn't talk about it very loudly. That's all that I'm saying. But anything you can use to kind of squirrel away a little bit of a nest egg there, that's going to be an advantage in your favor. That's going to be something in your camp. And I mean, if it's at a small amount, the government's not really going to look into you as you're spending money. But of course, don't do anything illegal. Don't ever do anything illegal. That's the last thing you want to do. Yeah, and that's the big thing. If you can get a second job right now, which under the commie coof, that's going to be almost impossible for you to do. That's going to be the way to go along with things too. Make sure you've got your bases covered is the thing. We've had 3 years of amazing economy. Now, there are people right now that are running out of savings. And there were people that had great savings at the beginning of the commie fucking coof. And now they're sitting here running at the end of there. I do feel bad for some of those people, but if you can do anything to shore yourself up and not start from that position, that's where I recommend starting with, is not starting from that position. Unfortunately, some of Gen Z is going to have to live with their parents. That's just going to be a reality of life. Now, I remember when I was 18, I was so excited to get up out of my parents' house, and I did. And I've never moved back in with my parents. I know a lot of people my age can't say the same thing. Either they stayed living with their parents until they were 30 because of the way the economy went, or they got out, got that taste of freedom, realized, well, this is hard. And all of a sudden they were sitting back in. Some of you guys are going to have to do that. That is an unfortunate thing. That's an very unfortunate fact of life. But some of you guys are going to have to do it. I'm sorry to say that. You're going to have to hunker down and say, please pass the sugar snap peas, and that's going to be it. So that's a big part of this, is just hunkering down and seeing where this goes. Hopefully we get some gridlock, and even if we get some gridlock, you're still going to have to hunker down a little bit because, unfortunately, in a government gridlock, unless for whatever reason there is a massive sweep and there's 3/4 majority, I think is what it is for veto override. 3/4 majority in both chambers. Whatever it gets to after statistically Biden loses the House, which I have no crystal ball, I can't tell you if that's going to happen, but I'm just going by statistics of the last 70 years. If Biden loses the House, as presidents have done statistically for the last 70 years, then we're going to just be stuck where we are at this point with all the EOs going. And plus he learned from the best. He's going to govern by EO. In fact, both of his predecessors at this point, his last two, loved their EOs. So he's still going to govern by EO. Meanwhile, the Senate and the House are going to be locked and blocked and not able to get anything up on there to try and overturn those EOs. So a couple of things to watch here. All right, we're going to check a little bit with the live chat here, and then we are going to get started with the guest portion of this. So I'm going to change a couple things over here. Let's just check with some live chat here. Let's see what we've got here. I've got the breakdown with Birkenhoff. The most ever votes as well. Yep, absolutely. The RRC is here. saying, "What's up, Patriots?" Even the progressives left are not liking Biden. Yeah, I think we saw a lot of that with the GameStop thing. We absolutely did. Nailbenders here. It's because overall Biden is boring as fuck. The generational gap is here. Steven Ignoramus is here. Studio Fortress, that's a new name in here, but welcome on in. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. C++ is still used heavily. Oh, I guess I didn't know that. Well, even still, it's a good starter language no matter what, so it's definitely a good thing to watch for. Studio Fortress says it's a good reason why socialized healthcare is such a great idea. Since you lose your job, you don't have to. Since if you lose your job, you don't have to worry. Yeah, there are other problems with socialized healthcare, unfortunately. Stephen, I can't read that on the air. Studio Fortress, at the end of the day, paying less for the same healthcare is better. Socialized healthcare systems pay less. Multiple studies have shown this. We're not going to go down the socialized healthcare route on this here. And that's what we've got going on for that. All right. I think without further ado, we're going to bring our guest panel on and have a talk with them. So let's get that scene set up here and let's get everybody ready to go. Where's my guest scene? There it is. Found it. All right. Well, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. So, starting out, he's got no goats, but he still wrote the music that introduced this particular program. We have Mr. Behavior.
Hey, what's going on, man? Also, yeah, C++ is totally used if you want to like make games in like Unreal Engine, for example. So maybe we can chat about that. Let's make some video games.
We will make some video games indeed. Also, go fuck yourself, the R-rated conservative.
What's going on, folks?
He just wants to talk turkey with you, Mr. Steven Ignoramus.
Hello. Mr. Behavior, is that you that I'm fighting with?
Wait, are we fighting?
No, or like that. Are you Studio Fortress on Twitch?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
Because they said the same thing about C++ as you, and I was
I was responding to that. Yeah. Because it's
What up,
true.
y'all?
I mean, that's one application, but I don't want to monopolize the conversation about fucking C++.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on, Jed.
we've got a boring
Fucking
old
nerds.
We've got a boring old neolib to talk about here. And lastly, the war will begin. Robert from the Generational Gap.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, y'all. Hi, Ed.
What's up, man?
Hanging
How's
and
up,
banging.
Roberto.
Well, before we get into the brass tacks of thing, especially since we started out just a little bit early on this, first off, we're going to have a nice, lively conversation. I've got 7 questions for you guys here, and some of them are going to be jump ball, and some of them are going to be individualized answers for you guys. But feel free to crosstalk and interrupt each other. I look forward to the conversation that comes along with all of this here. But at the end of this, if these guys have to go, then they have to go, and they'll interrupt me, and they'll get a chance to plug their stuff. But we will stick around and take as much live chat as we can for as much time as I have these wonderful gentlemen for. So, first off, how's everybody's Saturday going? Anybody can jump in on that.
It's all right, man. It's fucking cool. I went and got some microwave food because my fucking dishwasher's not working. And not my dishwasher. Sorry, that was last week.
Dang.
My garbage disposal. So I got like all this friggin' it's bad. So that part's bad, but I, not gonna be cooking for the next couple.
You're
of days.
rising above, it sounds like.
Yeah, dude. The house is falling apart.
Well, I mean,
my life is over.
well, I mean, compared to the rest of us, you've still got a lot of Saturday left here. I mean, it's only 4 o'clock where you are.
Oh
It's-
yeah, that's true. So
It's
it could
7
get worse,
around
is
the
what you're
other
saying.
side of me, and it's 6 here.
So yeah, so I have time for like the roof to cave in.
Yeah, the night is young.
I'm doing a stream after this where I'm talking about futuristic weapons and Antarctica, like Nazi Antarctica bases.
Oh,
So,
wild.
It's not on my channel. It's on Drone Tech Politics, but I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Some alien stuff.
Wow. And I was just looking forward to taking a nap before I go to bed for the night.
Yeah, me, after this is all over, I'm going to smoke a joint, hopefully bang the wife and crash for the night.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. You haven't met my wife yet.
Oh, I thought you were going to have trouble getting the weed out.
Or getting
No, that's
hard,
the
you know?
easy part.
That was
Yeah,
that
it's
was
his
really
wi-
the
she's
getting
his weed
hard
dealer
part.
too.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Well,
Yo, Jed. So Jed, you can't say what can't you read about what I wrote? You mean the
He's gonna get banned off YouTube,
yeah.
man.
F
Well, I'm going to
word.
get banned off YouTube eventually anyway, but I don't even remember what it was.
it was? Well, can I read it?
If you want.
No. I said my tax dollars should not go towards the health of a fired fatty.
I
Nice.
agree. Is this something that we're not allowed to agree on YouTube?
I don't know.
I don't
think,
know.
I don't know what the deal is, man. But like a fat person getting fired and wanting socialized healthcare, yo.
Well,
No.
is it because like we can't make fun of fat people on YouTube or something?
Maybe. I have no idea. I just didn't think that it was going to go over
should.
really well with the Wojcicki filter.
Thou must not body shame.
That
No,
was
you
never
gotta
body
shame
shame.
them into shape, man.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
I'm
Todd.
stepping up
We
the
gotta
shame
bring
in
shame
2021,
back.
man. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
bring it back in a big way, dude. In a huge way. You gotta bring
not-
shame
In a
back.
huge
not-
way. You see what he
I'm
did?
not gonna lie. I think shame would be a very wonderful thing to bring
Dude.
back. It would have a lot more impact than going to jail for the night, right?
Absolutely.
Just create like 30 accounts each, yo. They can't ban all of them. Like you
I'm
just
actually
keep-
going down that road, seeing how
Bro.
many times you and the RRC have been banned, and
Dude,
which
go to the link. Go to my link tree. I have like 40 links on there. You just keep hopping, dude.
Oh man.
by the way, usually over on the left side of the screen, I would have everybody's Twitter handle, but half of you fuckers are not on Twitter anymore.
Yes. Good.
You're off.
Nuke #nuke your Twitter.
Well,
I got nuked 6 times, man. You think Hiroshima got nothing on me?
Yeah.
Wait, you got bombed off to Twitter? You got banned?
Numerous
RRC
times.
was getting bombed
Wild.
way before it was cool, dude. Like I'm talking like beginning of 2019, bro.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I've never been
called
banned off
one guy a little glitter-coated prick, and I ended up doing a 7-day stretch for that one. And then 2 weeks later, they just completely banned me, and it's just gone all downhill from there.
Oh damn.
You
and the
should
worst
have
part of
never
it was I
mentioned
was cool with
glitter.
it when he called me a glitter-coated prick.
You don't say glitter on YouTube. God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that
Susan
sounds
would
like
jizz
it
trap.
might be
She don't like
offensive.
that very much.
All right. Well, I got some questions for you guys, and the first one I'm going to do here, I'm going to go one by one with you guys. I'm going to go clockwise with this, because I've gotten to know all of you guys over the years, so I can kind of individualize this to each of you. But once again, if you guys want to jump in with everybody's answers, feel free to do so. So I'm going to start with you, Chris, because you are in fact in one of the demographics that the new administration would like to pander to and cater to. So,
Oh, yeah.
how is the change in the administration? How have you seen that, given the fact, well, for you individually, and then for the group that they keep trying to cram down your throat?
Well, apparently I'm not black anymore, so I can't.
my
According
fellow
to the
white.
new
How are you?
administration.
Did they
I'm not
redeem your
black.
card? Did they redeem your card?
Well,
What?
so
Or, I mean,
remember,
revoke?
Biden said if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
No, it was if you didn't know if you
So-
were going to vote for him, you're not black.
I didn't. I did not vote for him. So apparently I'm not black. So I don't know if I can even answer this question. Because I don't think I am part of that demographic.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
as
wouldn't
far
be
as I
right.
can tell, according to them, I am white, I guess. So that's one thing I can definitely notice. But I honestly, dude, I'm gonna be real. These motherfuckers are the thing that I'm paying the most attention to are the way that people are reacting, and a lot of people, seem to think that they won something. And I just, I'm just kind of waiting for it all to fall down at this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Just bring it on. Let's fucking go. Accelerate this shit.
I have to say you're very well spoken for a white person.
Thanks.
We recently welcomed the Asians into the fold as well as fellow whites. So there's
Oh,
room on the
that's
ship.
right.
dude.
Hey,
There's room.
I got a question. Now that you're officially a white person, has your life gotten way more easy and you feel less afraid of the police?
You know
At
what?
least by the
Yeah.
Biden curriculum.
You
that's
have
the way
no
it should be.
idea. I mean, I feel like I'm treated the way that I should have always been treated, by police, and the fact that they leave me alone, and the fact that other white folks, they see me you know, and they talk to me as a white man. By that I mean like I'm privileged to their racism towards other races. Now it's amazing. So
Well,
I'm experiencing all forms of white privilege,
Wow.
as to say.
well, let's see
White
if you
pill of the
finally
year,
arrived. Did anybody introduce you to their daughter?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that used to. Well,
That's when you know you've arrived.
honestly, I got that before, and I think it was a fetishism thing. So
That was
Well,
cuckold. Yeah, it's a
okay.
whole different thing.
yeah.
But before
So
we're
I
off
haven't noticed the
YouTube,
difference, I guess, is what I should say.
but,
Wasn't Tony Soprano, was it? He's like, you're not
Oh,
part of the family. Do we understand each other? Like,
You know, I'm from New Jersey, right? That's a
wow.
funny,
but before we're off
So,
YouTube here,
it
I'm going to
could've
move on
been.
to
It
the
could've been.
RRC on this question here. So, under the commie fucking coup, you've been pretty open about the fact that you, for the most part, have lost your job, and you've been very, very vocal about the fact that we're all fucked as soon as Joe Biden puts his hand on the Bible, to quote you. So, how has the change in administration thus far affected you? And I mean, we're only on 10 days, but still, thus far.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I have to say that I was absolutely shocked when he put his hand on the Bible and he didn't burst into flames. That shocked the hell out of me. Second of all, since he's taken office, really not much has changed because, I mean, we're still under lockdown like a bunch of hamsters in a cage now. I mean, I lost my job a year ago because Flu Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. And since then, I've focused primarily on the show, but since this old bastard has stepped in, I've noticed my social media has been cut in half. I had my YouTube channel banned a couple of weeks ago. So I would say, yeah, things are looking pretty good.
Damn. So you're part of the whole purge of
Oh, yeah.
social media that's
Yeah,
going
he got
on.
nuked.
Not only did I get nuked on YouTube, I was demonetized on D Live. So was Ed and Steven. I don't
everyone,
know. If,
everyone with the X
Everybody.
tag, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Wow.
demonetized as well. Yeah, we got no
Trovo, man.
love, lemon love. No lemon
Trovo's
love.
tight.
well, I've also been telling people, especially all the creators that got zapped for no reason and without warning and without giving any specifics on the terms of service, class actions are very effective. And I already spoke to the people at D Live and said, don't fuck with me.
Yeah, I would fucking get on that shit for sure. I'm actually like, one thing that I've seen, just to comment on, going back to the question, based on this, you guys all gotten banned. I haven't gotten banned from anything. I haven't even
Neither
gotten
have I.
tagged for bothered from anything. And I talk about a lot of shit on Twitch that, like, if I was white, I definitely would get taken down.
Bro,
like, for
Twitch
real.
is tight. I haven't seen much on Twitch. I say all kinds of outlandish shit.
Yeah.
I've never got
Dude, that's-
like Twitch is good.
I've seen people get banned though off that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
you're
like, I think
okay
it's
on
probably a
Twitch
volume
until the
thing
whack
for
jobs
Twitch.
find you, and that's
yeah,
when
you
you
gotta
start having
fly
Right,
under the
right.
radar. Yes.
Right,
yes.
right, for sure.
Live became commie so quick.
Yeah.
It happened
real?
so fast, man. Yeah, they're worse than YouTube.
overnight.
That's super
Overnight.
fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
And I love
Trovo,
D Live too. I advocated this site for
Yep.
since I
It
started
was
on
the
it, and
shit
now
for a year and a half, man. It was really good for a long time. Trovo's great. You cash out in like 2 or 3 days. The money accrues a little quicker. Trovo is really good.
Trovo.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm on
speaking-
Trovo now too.
Speaking of all the streaming, Steven, you have been hit hardest, I think, out of all of us here by the transition, not the direct transition of power on the 20th, but even before that, because you were there on the 6th.
Yes.
And I know you read the hit piece on your show, so you've been pretty open about the fact that it happened there. So how has this entire transition affected your life?
Well, I'm now a woman, so and you're not allowed to dead name or trans shame me, dude. So the transition's fine. Thank you for, oh, okay. I meant the other one. Yeah, I mean, I lost my job. Yeah. I've had good blessings since then because I've been advertising, my teaching career and stuff like that a lot, and people give me donations, stuff like that. So it's fine. I'm not trying to like go all victim, but yeah, it happened. My old life is over, and that's fine. I had a hit piece written about me by the Daily Beast. You can see it. It's behind the paywall though. But I read it live on air. It was fine. But yeah, man, I think that the world changed a lot in about 14 months or less. I mean, like ever since last March really to now, it's just it's a completely different world where you have to adjust, improvise, adapt, overcome. There's some armed services that I'm not a part of that's like their motto. But life is fine. I mean, dude, I lead on God for most things, and it's gonna be all right. But we're, you know, we might get into it. I sometimes think Biden isn't president. I also think Biden is not the same human that was in office in the 80s. His earlobes are not detached anymore. I think there's always some stuff going on that doesn't meet the eye. So I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. I love streaming so much. I love teaching music. So life's good. I'm just I'm planning to crush the next couple years.
Good.
Yeah. So things will be all right. I just keep my head up.
Now, Robert, I have known you, I think, the longest out of everybody here currently.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. And you were one of the first people to pull me onto the podcast scene out of making the heavily edited solo videos as well. One of the things I've seen from you is you were fairly left-ish when I met you, and you've pulled yourself, I wouldn't say you've pulled yourself to the right, but you've pulled yourself into the liberty side. But I could also, like the Robert that I met the first time I was on the generational gap, would have probably been ecstatic over the fact that Biden was here. But the Robert I know now is not
so
that
much.
Well,
so,
I've said this on the show before. I know that over the last, I'm going to say 20 years, I've been making a shift. I mean, the shift started long ago. And of course, I will attribute that to getting older, taking on more life responsibilities, homes, children, family, the whole thing. You become more conservative because you start thinking about the future of everyone around you versus just yourself. But exposing myself to the people, the podcast, all of that, I think it did move me faster than I had been going on my own, just, that gradual progression. But a lot of it is the visibility of all the corruption now, how exposed it is in the day-to-day world. That is really, I don't know. It's making me afraid to lean towards either side, to be honest with you. I think I find myself now struggling to grab onto the middle ground and try and hold somewhere near there as much as I can. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I can bring the jackboots, shut it all down, and
Yes,
let the
exactly.
madness begin and end and move on to the next piece.
Yeah.
Well,
if this process didn't make you a little more like collapsitarian, accelerationist, then you're not really looking at shit. I mean, that's
Right,
the tendency,
right.
because it is the corruption. It's just the wood is rotted. It's just
Absolutely.
rotted, and you
We
just
just
like,
need
what
to
do you
gut
do? Throw that shit in the fire.
I
in
can hear the
Minecraft.
wood cracking, man.
yeah.
It is interesting to see how strong the brainwashing that's gone on for the last few
Yeah.
decades
It's crazy,
is going
right?
to is going to hold out with most of these hardcore brainwashed people.
Right. Yeah.
Before they look down and go, holy shit, this foundation is rotting out from under us. Maybe I need to do a reality check.
I don't think they're going to, man. It's
No.
going to be over and being rebuilt, and they're going to be dead. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, sorry,
shit
I
got
just like fucking dropped a bomb on everything. But like, seriously, when you were saying like earlier, Ed, when you were like, you saying something about like Gen Z, I can't remember exactly what you said, but all I thought was like, Gen Z is going to be the generation that is going to like be like on the forefront of the battleground of this. Essentially, a lot of those motherfuckers ain't going to make it to the other side of this shit.
Yeah, that's
Because
very true too.
because of what you were saying, what you were just saying was about like Rob, about the the brainwashing, dude. It's like, dude, these kids are like grew up in this world where everything is like it's literally like the fucking Matrix, man. And like we're all people that like got pulled out of that shit. They haven't had the opportunity to. They're not shown anything related to nuance or multifaceted opinions or ideas. They're showed that one thing is correct and that's it. And so they're so steeped in that, man. There's no pulling that out. There's no pulling that out. It's
There
gonna
really
be
is.
fucking
There-
war
I-
and blood before that
Well,
happens.
there is one way. There is one way, and it would be horrific to see happen, but technological collapse would do that.
You
It
think
would
so?
it would be the wake up call, right?
Mm.
If they didn't have the crutch of technology that they have now that supports that brainwashing on a day to day basis,
Mm-hmm.
they might actually wake up. So maybe an EMP blast above the United States isn't a horrible thought.
Maybe. But
Gotta
there
live
is
stream, bro.
benefits to the technology too. Like you just saw what would happen with like GameStop and all of the short squeeze. And
Let's
stuff.
go,
That wouldn't
bro.
have-
Yeah.
let's fucking
Let's
go.
go.
Exactly. So that
I bought
wouldn't happen
Dogecoin
without
today, by the way.
technology. So I think that's one of the reasons why regulating the internet is such a huge conversation too, is because people want to have or having these two sides of the internet, right? Like you were saying earlier, like how a bunch of us are off Twitter. It's like, yeah, I fucking got off that shit because I don't want to be in that sort of echo chamber. But without the power of like, a Reddit or whatever it is, like we wouldn't be able to pull something like that off. Like, so there's like a double-edged sword to that. I think that you have a point that maybe people would wake up quicker, but I don't know, man. I don't really know. All I know it's fallen, and I don't really have a solution.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, I mean the solution is
That's
to
what she's
crush,
saying right
yo.
now. Yeah.
The solution is to like I get what y'all are saying about there's no such thing as like people. There's too many. So when you're talking about millions of variables, like I don't know. There's not really such a thing as the collective.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
if
sure.
There's a voluntary collective or even involuntary if people are in the same spot or whatever. But if you try to solve the world's problems, everything's blackpilling. Because there's not to be solved, like no
Facts.
solution. Like so, if you just crush and learn skills, and whatever your version of positive crushing is, then that is the solution.
All right, we gotta.
I agree with that.
Separating, man, just balkanize.
We
Get
gotta keep
away
going,
from
you
these
guys.
unlikable people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna go clockwise again. I'm gonna go counterclockwise this way this time here. But let's do a little bit of projection here. We're gonna go out about 2 years now because that'll be when we start to see the midterms and what happens with there. But where do you think your life is gonna go under the new admin, under at least the first half of this, given the way the government is structured and the way that they're trying to push everything from the top down? Robert, I'm gonna start with you.
To be honest with you, I think the position I'm in right now with my wife, family, and that's getting ready to grow. I don't know that we're going to be in a much different position. The factors that are going to happen between now and then are really going to be the determinant. Like, it's like our prices, over the next 2 years going to go so astronomical that my idea of getting by and doing the same right now are completely out of whack, right? It's going to, those kind of things, these spontaneous things that can happen. Outside of that, barring anything crazy happening, I don't see too much difference in my life because I work from home. I work from home. I do that so that I don't have to try and go out there and get a job. So my wife's got a good, stable job with, that's not going to go under. It's one of the few that won't go under. So I think things are going to hold. The only thing I'm really scared about is the bottom of the housing market falling out and everything that we have here becoming worth nothing.
That's all imaginary anyway. Steven, where do you see your next 2 years?
Well, I mean, I hope the housing market doesn't completely fall through because I'm trying to buy a place. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to make myself care less about politics. I didn't care that much in the beginning. I mean, I cared because I do a live stream about it, but we just mock the stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show on Monday going through all the executive orders that have been signed, and it's, there's a ton of them, obviously, and I don't agree with
42.
almost any of them. Yeah. And so, but I don't know. It's all about who's going to enforce what, if you're talking about politics.
Yes.
Who's going to enforce this shit? And if they do, that's bad. And if they don't, that's good. I'm not much of a Republican either. I think the GOP is mostly liberal.
I agree.
Yeah,
Fucking
man,
A.
they're all commies,
leftists,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like I just think that
100%.
like I said, you have to know what you can control and not control, and you can't control much. I mean, you can run for office, cool. Probably not going to win. That's cool. That's fine though. Like if you can change the debate, like move the Overton window. But I'm just going to focus on my life and my streaming and the education and just take the clown pill. That is such a good alternative to the black pill. Just keep making fun of this shit, and these people deserve no respect. So.
I'm with you, bro.
With it, bro.
Yeah, and so,
With
but
it,
having
bro.
said that, if what's it called? If the GOP takes back whatever, that's good because I'm definitely anti-democrat. Who knows? I don't know if the rubber band's going to snap back or it's just going to go full commie. I mean,
it has to go all the way around.
Yeah,
right?
it's like this horseshoe clock.
Yeah.
Like thing. It's,
People think that it's a straight line. It's a circle.
no, yeah, truth.
Ed, I want to make one minor amendment to my answer. I do have a very real concern that sometime within the next couple of years, we will be at a wartime state with at least one enemy overseas. We are going to enter a new war is one concern that I do have. And hopefully it's just with one.
Yeah.
It's small, but I do have an expectation that's going to happen. So whatever impact that has, I would be concerned about that.
For sure.
Mr. R-rated
say
conservative,
China.
where do you see your life going in the next 2 years up until
Well,
midterms?
Well, I'm with Steven that the housing market doesn't crash because I'm looking to buy a place within the next 6 to 8 months and move from one corner of the country to the other one. I'm up in New England now. I want to get down to Florida. So
Wait, with that accent, you're up in New England? Really?
Yeah.
So wait, when are you looking to buy? Do you want to talk to me offline? Because we might be in the market to sell. Just let me know.
Well,
Unless you want to get something near Gators and this.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm looking in the Southwest region, and I'm looking to get out of here at least by mid to late summer. That's our goal. My employer has an office down there where I can actually work. So if I still have my job by then it's most likely going to happen. But if it doesn't, then we're just going to have to play it by ear.
Well, you should jump on it. I hear Cuba's nice this time of year. So.
Nice beaches.
Yeah.
But I would say the one thing that I have my utmost concern about right now is that House Res 1, where they want to change all the voting parameters, nationalize the whole thing, expand on the mail-in votes. That right there is going to determine our future. And if the Republicans go along with that and it actually passes, that is the end of America and nothing will ever save it.
Well, what's
Sort of
nice
violent
about that,
revolution.
though, is, under Article 2, Section 1, that actually can't... they can pass it all day long, and it'll hit the Supreme Court and say,
Gotta amend the Constitution.
nope.
Well,
you
as
can't
we've
do that.
maybe
seen
that's
from
the
the
plan,
Supreme
though.
Court, they can't be trusted either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
So
I said that to a
don't
friend
even-
earlier. Yeah.
Don't count on the Supreme Court at this point anymore because they're no longer trustworthy.
I think that's the point where you see convention
never
of states,
were.
though.
They never were trustworthy, man. The entire concept of the Supreme Court is fucking ludicrous. They're supposed to be not part of the government, but appointed by the government. That makes no fucking sense.
Right?
That makes no fucking sense.
The minute politics are tied in with the court, you're fucked.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't have any political affiliation whatsoever.
I agree
Not supposed to,
100%.
But they all do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the
Don't get
whole
me
point
fucking started on the Supreme Court, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. No way.
Mr. Behavior, where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
I share a similar concern as Robert right now is the house stuff. I just got a place. I really don't want it to go through the floor. That would be really bad. So that sucks. I'm not like super concerned about it at this point. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I think a lot of like doom and gloom is like not too healthy, but it's definitely a concern. It's in the back of my head. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like I'm in school right now. So by the time that happens, I'll be pretty much done with getting my degree in game design. So hopefully I'll have like a portfolio of stuff together. The thing about it is it's like all of my skills are artistic. And so that sucks because when no one has money to pay for art,
Yep.
then there's no art, right? And so I'm trying to like kind of realign. I don't know. Me and my lady are starting kind of a cookie business. By the way, if you guys want really fucking good cookies, hit me the hell up. We'll mail anywhere in the United States. But
Neat.
so we're starting that, and then she's gonna have some other stuff under her belt. She's in school right now too, but I have to take some stock of like what I can do outside of that realm. And I've definitely been considering this before you even asked this question. This is something that, I've been thinking about for, a couple of weeks. It's like all of my skills are related to art in some way, right? Like I can like design games, or I can like play music, or like I can like do stuff like that. And it's like, well, what else do I do? Now I do know how to code, right? I can like make websites and things like that. But again, that's one of those things. It's like, if people don't have money to pay for those kinds of things, like, then where's that going to come from? I mean, like, I guess I could go work for the government, but no, fuck that, right? So it's like, I don't know. I have to really take stock of like what I can do to have some sort of a nest egg or hard skill that's like not art or tech based, which is what I've been basing my entire life around, right? Because I grew up in this world where like that was the infinite possibility and all this stuff. And it sucks because now I'm coming down to the realization that fuck, like I was like duped so hard. Like I have all these like cool skills and I can like do these fun things, but then it's like if I'm in a situation where like the economy completely falls through the floor, none of that stuff matters anymore.
Well, there's been other interest too. I know Steven has asked me to come down and teach him how to fix a car.
Yes.
Well, at least basically do some rudimentary stuff. Because
for sure.
I mean, that's what I went to school for, and I'll probably still always be able to do more than he can, but I can, change your oil and change your brakes.
Cool.
Yeah, I can.
Welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, I'm in the exact same boat as you. I've built my art skills and tech skills for 12 years, and now just, but I really don't think the collapse is going to happen. People think too collective, yo. Like, people are out there that can do stuff. Men are out there that can do stuff.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Ed, you mentioned something earlier during your monologue, and you were talking about a depression coming. And I think that one thing that we need to consider is what a depression actually looks like in the 2020s versus the 1920s.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're not going to leave a capitalist digital age, even in the heart of a depression. There's still going to be the elite that is spending money. There's still going to be a structure there. So, like your skill set, like I said, I work from home. I work online on Upwork.com. It's a great site. You would work all day long. There's jobs for all your various artistic skill sets all day long.
For sure.
And that is where I think people really need to focus, because right now we're going through a major transition where so much work is becoming digitized, becoming digital, becoming remote, because now they see that it's possible to do this. Learn your skill sets, learn to code, learn to fucking draw, learn to play music, learn to do things that, I mean, have you looked at the sheer amount of digital media that is being produced on a daily basis throughout the world?
Yeah, for sure.
The work is always going to be there until there's something apocalyptic happens.
Well, this actually transitions right into my next question here. So this is a jump ball question. I'm gonna throw the question out there and let you guys discuss over it a little bit here. But
what black guy's gonna get it? It's jump ball, dude.
Oh,
yeah, I can jump higher than all of you.
Racist.
No. He's white now. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, dude, it's fair game. Yeah.
so
he only gets it. He only gets it if his privilege is bigger than ours.
I was gonna call the cops to even it out, but he's white.
Yeah. So now it just has to do with the fucking height. It's nothing to do with blackness.
He's got that BWP though. That big.
Sorry,
white
Jay.
privilege.
He's trying to move along.
So
I thought you were gonna say big white penis.
No,
can we say penis?
Privilege.
Can we
penis.
say
Sir.
penis?
I don't know. I did it on Generational Gap last night.
10:15.
What extra
I already
preparation?
got the report. I got the memo. Susan says it's okay to say penis.
Okay.
Got it.
As long
Sweet.
as it's on a woman.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Miss Wojcicki.
So what extra preparations?
As long as you're talking about hers.
Hey,
Hey, we
hey,
gotta let Ed
I'm gonna
ask
start
the
muting mics
question.
here.
J. Edgar wants to move on so bad.
Oh shit.
Oh, man.
What extra preparations do you think people should be making right now, just in case we go into whatever the 2020 version of a depression is? And
Get
go
some
ahead.
water
fucking
and
food
condoms.
supplies. Get some fucking emergency food supplies. Get some fucking guns and some fucking ammo.
Get
Learn how
condoms
to-
too,
Be without that without the
Wait,
swearing.
why condoms?
Yeah.
because this
I-
is the worst time you could ever have children.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Oh man, I'm about to have like 7 kids, yo.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Good luck with that.
Oh, no.
I'll tell
No.
you, I agree. Partly, yes, you need to make sure you have weapons. You need to do that, but you need to take your ass out into your backyard and learn how to plant some food
Yeah.
Oh,
and grow
yeah.
you some
Oh, hell yeah.
vegetables
Yep.
Yep.
and get you a couple of chickens
Yep.
and call it a damn day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what you
No,
need
that's
to
a
be
fact.
doing
That's a
because
fact.
that's where your money's going to go whenever the
Yep.
money's tight
That's
and the
a
prices
fact.
are high.
That's a fact. That's what my lady and I, we just got our raised beds and stuff for vegetables and stuff like that. We're gonna put them all together, and as soon as the last frost is done here, start planting. That's actually one of the things
Yeah.
we're starting doing this
That's
year.
what's up.
Yeah, and I did that. I mean, I've been raising carnivorous plants for 5 years now. But this past summer, I decided I was going to go on and I did vegetables for the first time this year.
Nice.
Cucumbers, peppers, onions, carrots a little bit. I
man.
did that for the first time and I actually got a pretty good harvest off that. So I'm gonna do that every year. Even renting.
Yeah.
I just planted in cut out milk jugs.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
I'll say one that I think is pretty underrated. Doesn't get talked about a lot. People got to learn to get their emotions in check.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
learn to
for sure.
control your reactions
For
and
sure.
shit. Like pursue
sure.
stoicism or like whatever. But people are so emotional. Like
Yeah.
you're, and every human has
Yeah.
emotions. But if you can't learn to control your reactions and at least make them funny, like bare
Yeah,
minimum,
right.
make yourself funny.
Yeah.
But dude, that's part of the
people are-
brainwashing. That's part of
Yeah.
the
I mean,
it
brainwashing.
is.
We've been taught for the last 30, 40 years that it's okay to express yourself.
Well, then those
Express
people,
your emotions.
Let the dead bury the dead. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about people that can hear this message and adjust.
Yeah.
Like those people are
Right.
going to be screwed. Like, but every person listening and every person in this Zoom call has the ability to adjust 1% per day.
Yeah.
And I've always been an emotional person. I was brainwashed too. I think everyone,
Yeah,
no one came
same.
out unscathed. It's like, but everyone can get a little bit more just in check and not freak out emotionally about stuff. It's so doable. That might be as useful as many of these other skills. Not growing food. You
Yeah.
need to learn. Your ass needs to
Yeah,
learn how
for
to do
sure.
that.
I
Hey,
think
man,
a
I've
lot
always
of
been in favor of expressing one's emotions, but when the expression of those emotions involve people getting shot or things being set on
Mm.
fire, that's not a proper expression.
yeah. I mean,
or
well,
being
I mean,
punched in the face.
You're
Well,
you're like,
it depends. That one is a little bit more shades of gray on that one, depending on what happened.
yeah. I mean, I think if you're a dude and you haven't been rocked in the face, you're probably gonna be. You're not as well off in this world. Like at some point. Yeah. I mean, I've been hit hard, and I actually it was a blessing. I didn't know
Yeah,
it at the
for
time.
sure.
It didn't feel like a blessing.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I just think that like this thing with online, it's very feminine. The
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people
for sure.
just react to shit, and if you could just
Well-
learn to like control the shit.
It's a focus thing. So it's a lot of people have been thrown off the scent of what actually fucking matters, right? In terms of contact. So I have a great example of this. My lady was telling me that she had this ethics test that she took, right? And one of the questions said something like, your coworker tells a mildly racist joke. What is your reaction? And they had a discussion about it, and she walked away from that discussion feeling like her friends thought that she was okay with racism, or her or classmates thought that she was okay with racism, because what she was trying to basically say was that, well, if it's a joke and it's funny, like I'm gonna laugh, right? Like it's funny, and I think that a lot of people in that context they focus on the racist part and not the joke part. And what I was saying to her was like,
Funny's
here's
funny.
the thing, right? Here's the thing. The real answer to that is, is the joke funny? You ask the question back, is the joke funny? Because if it's funny, I'm going to laugh. And they'll say something like, well, if it's racist, then it's bad, But you have to really take into account. It's like, we're talking about a joke. We're not talking about racism. You're focused on the adjective when really what we should be focusing on is the fucking noun. And I think that in general, a lot of reason that people can't like control their emotions around things is because they've been thrown in the wrong direction as to what part of what we're discussing is the important part.
Right.
Right. And it's like that I thought that was a fantastic example, because it's like, no, this is a joke. All that matters about a joke is whether or not it's funny. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's racist. Doesn't matter if it's sexist. Doesn't matter if it's, I don't know, any other istophobe. Right. It's a joke. So is it funny or not?
Well,
Yeah.
Stephen, I have to say that to your point about it seems so feminine. Since the first wave feminism, the establishment learned in the process of feminism that if you emasculate the larger portion of society, they will be easier to control. So again, this is something we have been attuned to where we are expressing emotion and feeling as males. The male side of our society has gotten much more touchy-feely.
Yeah.
We are no longer hunters.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know, we are spouses. We are feeling. We are not disciplining our children. We are
right.
Yeah, we went from being husbands to wives.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, to
Right.
be honest, I mean, it's very rare actually to get kind of like, if you get 5 to 10 dudes in a room, like not having one be like a lispy soy voice. You know,
I don't know what you're talking about. We have 5 people in the room
here.
here.
I'm a Democratic operative, and I want power.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I'm
Like,
literally
for real.
shaking.
No, that's actually very true. It's like they've conditioned, and they do well because they do this with young boys, right? Is they try to like make them act more like girls. If a young boy is rambunctious, they want to put him on like some kind of a medication. You know what I mean? Where it's like, dude, no, he's just a boy. Like that's right. So that and even in schools, right? The way that schools exist right now, public schools are geared more towards the way that girls learn than boys learn, right? You got to sit down and shut up and listen to stuff. Like boys are not built for that. You got to fucking give them something to hold and build and break and fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then that's how they learn better. So the entire system is rigged around getting boys to be more like defective girls, essentially. And so that's where you get that.
yeah, and women being defective men too.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
That's true too. Yeah, that's
You
true
can't
too.
work as good, yo.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
They're not workers like us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where you get like, right? Men die on the job way more than women do, right? Because men are going to take jobs like that.
Well, look at what's currently going on with movies and television right now. You know, just bear in mind they are setting women up as the dominant gender now.
Oh yeah,
There
for
is
sure.
so many. It's all about a strong female role, whether she's primary role or supporting role. They're all strong female roles.
Exactly. And the opposite male role is a stumbling, bumbling jack off.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And this is
Even
currently going
commercials.
on now to where it's like they are definitively setting the bar now, and then you're going to see a major shift.
Well, to be fair, they've been setting the bar for a long time. They were just doing it to black men primarily before, and now they're doing it to everybody.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, and it worked pretty effectively with black people. And now, like, I think it's very obvious that it's happening all the way across the board now because a lot of the mainstream stuff, like even like the new Avengers, right? They're like, oh, we need an all-female Avengers. I said this to somebody the other day. I was like, yeah, the fact that they're like trying to bill it as all-female, it's like, you know, that like there's going to be something, there's going to be a problem with that. And this guy's, the Democratic operative, right? Well, why is that a problem? I said, well, we didn't get an all-male one.
Yeah,
I mean, why is it that we
but
need
it
to do
should
this?
be all male. That's the thing. It should be all male. Dudes are stronger. They're more capable of that
Yeah,
stuff.
well,
Like, come
I have no
on.
problem. I have no problem with Black Widow.
How dare you?
No problem.
I never
with her.
saw any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Scarlett
I've
Johansson
watched
is
all
hot,
the
man,
Avenger
so-
movies. Here's my take on the whole thing. I have no problem with an all-female cast, but here's the deal: if you're going to do it, it's got to be good.
Right.
You're just putting someone in there for
Exactly.
the sole reason of just a hole filling a hole. That's the end
an
of your
interesting way to
industry,
put it.
as far as I'm concerned.
Interesting way to put it, because that's usually what I'm thinking about when watching those movies.
Yeah,
Right.
they're a hole to fill a hole. That's what they are.
No, but
They're
no.
just
Well, when that's the selling
match.
point, it's like that it's gonna be bad,
The worst
Right?
was
And it's-
Ghostbusters, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Didn't
had
see that one.
Ghostbusters.
Didn't see that
I
one.
I
watched
boycotted
that.
it.
That
I
I didn't
wouldn't
think
watch
that
it.
Ghostbusters was that bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it because of the simple fact that they did an all-female.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
I didn't
Like,
like
why?
I didn't like the Ghostbusters one, but I actually did like the Ocean's 8 one. I just wish
Oh,
they'd
yeah?
have taken Ocean out of it because it had nothing
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
with Danny
right.
Ocean. But
Right.
it would have been a good heist movie under literally any other name.
Right,
but they had
right.
to bust
Well,
into
so-
that franchise.
But that's the thing. Why is it that it needs to piggyback off of something that's
write
already
a new
exists?
story.
Right,
Write a new
Right,
story.
right.
What's the
Yeah.
problem with that? Like, why don't you
Yeah.
just create new stuff?
It's
Because
how are you
going
gonna-
to subvert it?
How are you
Right,
going to sell
exactly.
How are you going to sell Charlie's Angels squared? Right. I mean,
Right.
it's
Well-
like you can't sell it without piggybacking it off something male.
Right, exactly. Which means at the same time, then it's like, is that actually what you're going for? Because you're still following the template of what the men already did. So are you actually like accomplishing your goal, or are you just like copycatting, which is insane?
Get some
Um,
originality.
They're trying to
feminists.
subvert the culture, yo. They're trying to subvert
Well-
the family. They're trying to mess with masculinity. It
Yeah.
is. I don't know how like centralized it is, but they're trying to subvert shit.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
they can't write something new.
Right,
They can't.
Because the
We-
only way people are going to watch it is if it's under the moniker of a established brand, and then if they do that, they could use the power of the brand to brainwash. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
Well,
I
we
agree.
gotta pull off this topic because we're way off of the topic that I wanted to. I got one more one-by-one question, and then the rest of the questions I have here are going to be kind of toss-up questions like we just did here. But I want to see what individually, because I know we've all talked about what this could possibly mean for our lives here, and we all saw this coming. So, what have you each individually done to try and prepare for what's to come here? And I'm going to start with you, Chris. What have you done to prepare for a possible Dempression, a possible Biden presidency, or just the possibilities that we saw here?
Well, I got food. I got
Microwave food.
I got guns. No, I got like emergency food storage. I got guns. I got stuff like that. And yeah, after the discussion we just had, I'm feeling better about my digital skills, right? So it's like that's actually a really good point, right? It's not going to look the same as it did in the 1930s, and like working from home is still a thing and all that stuff. So that's actually really encouraging. I mean, I just got to keep fucking living and doing the things that are important to me, right? And as I do that, everything else will come around it. That's kind of how my life has always been. So, man, if I gotta like defend my house from some fucking weirdos one day, man, that sucks, but I'll have to do that. And then, I'll just keep living, that's it. I can't really do much I don't want to doom and gloom, and I don't want to like
Right.
think that like constantly think about, the worst that could happen. I just want to live every single day and then just try to get through it.
Dude, it is so easy to black pill when you read news all day, every day.
Yeah, fucking A, man. That's what, dude, honestly, I'm with Steven, man. I'm not really paying attention to the politics as much anymore. Like, I mean, I know what's going on, like, but I'm not like making it like get me upset or like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm focusing on learning how to make games and fucking playing some games and talking about games with people and fucking, just developing myself into the person that I wanted to be when I was fucking 12. Like, I want to make video games and fucking like hang out and like have a house and like have some kids and shit and like have them probably hate video games because their dad's way too into it and like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
RRC, what preparations have you been making to weather through 2 years of the Biden circus?
Well, I got stocked. I got locked. I'm ready to unload. And if worse comes to worse, somebody tries to break into my house, I'll even stab you with a samurai sword. I don't give a shit.
Nice.
You got a fucking
I'll
samurai
cut your
sword?
ass up. But I mean, what we've
Jesus
done
Christ.
over this last year, I had a feeling some heavy duty shit was on its way. So the missus, she's worked herself to death, and every little nickel and dime I've taken in, we've scraped and saved as much money as we could. I mean, it's supposed to go towards getting us a new house, but at least it's definitely a nest egg for the real fucking hardship that could come our way over the next year or so. But I would say in terms of preparation, I mean, we got to be honest. We really honestly don't know what's going to happen in the long term. So it's
Right.
really hard to prepare other than just the basics: food, water, provisions, batteries. Learn how to be a little bit more self-sufficient. Obviously, like Robert was saying, grow some food. I mean, if you could keep a couple of chickens around, that would be great. But I live in a city atmosphere where if I get caught with chickens, they'll kill the chickens and arrest me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it sucks up here, dude.
That's
It really
crazy.
does. This is
I
this
lived
right
up there.
here is the
Leave the
East Coast
cities.
equivalent of like San Francisco.
Oh,
We are in
shit.
Commeyville,
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
and our governor's even.
I
a
mean, even in
Republican,
San Francisco, you can even have chickens. Man. Like I lived there for like
too.
10
now
years,
they
man.
can.
Yeah. And I know people got like their urban farms and stuff too. And
Yeah,
That's
now
something
they
I
can
didn't
have
mention
that
too.
stuff
We're growing
because
food and
They ruin the
stuff.
economy to the
Yeah,
point where
yeah.
that's the only way to survive.
right. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. Like,
Mr. Ignoramus, what's
I
your
mean-
preparation plan?
Everything everyone said. I mean, you got to be able to defend yourself. Mindset, yo, you got to get your
Yeah.
mind right. I think also to get spiritually right. You know, connecting with God's important.
Fact.
Just whatever you can do. I mean, I think if you started in 2021, you ain't been paying attention.
Yeah.
fact.
You really have not been paying attention to shit. I know a lot of people, but you got to start when you start. So a lot
Right,
of people
yeah.
that are like waking up now, that you just got to do what you got to do. Definitely, leaving the city. I moved out of DC a while ago. In terms of months, not
Yeah.
years, but I was in DC for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
My condolences.
yeah,
Yeah, fucking
I
A.
mean, I honestly think I was just gonna say that when you mentioned San Francisco, I honestly think that these far left cities are in a little bit better of a position than this more of the centrist cities, because the far left people have known about farming, they've known about
Right,
alternative
That's true.
medicine and stuff, but the centrist liberal cities are effed.
Yeah.
DC,
yeah.
New York, Boston, but in Cali, people have
Yeah.
been either farming or
Yeah, that's true.
they're whack jobs, but they've been doing
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for a while. But just mindset, chickens, friends,
Yeah, for sure.
kids, skills, clean fun, learn how to not need technology. I mean, it's all mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
all
mean,
mindset.
yeah, San Francisco, they've gone back to the old West where everybody has a farm and there's shit piles on the sidewalk and it smells like piss everywhere. It's just like 1837.
It really
all
fucking
over
does. It really. I didn't notice, dude. I was there for 10 years. I didn't notice it until I moved out. I went back in, I think it was October or something, for like 3 days. And I was like, man, this city fucking smells like piss. I can't believe I did this
The
for.
whole fucking
It's
city.
insane. It's insane.
Well, just the mindset of getting out of the city too. That's another one. I mean, I lived in Kenosha for 10 years. Now, mind you, the most prominent trip that I took back to Kenosha was going and live streaming from it after it got burned to the fucking ground.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, even just going back on a visit, I mean, like, I live in a small farming community, probably maybe an hour west of where I used to live in Kenosha. It's small enough that I'm not going to say the name, just because enough people know me around here at this point that you could just go, oh well, you're in that city. Oh, I know that dude. That it's that kind of lifestyle. But going back to the city, I'm like, this blows. Why did I do this? Why did I live here for 10 years? This fucking sucks.
Well, when you're young, I moved to San Francisco when I was 22, and like that was the shit, right? Like it was fucking, I was in this fucking city and I could go to, go out to bars and play my music. I was playing music for like 10 years and, doing stuff like that. And like, it's cool when you're in your 20s, and then, you get a little bit older and your priorities shift and you realize that it's fucking gross. And you don't want to smell piss everywhere, and you don't want to step on shit while you're paying like thousands of dollars to fucking live somewhere that you're never at, right? Because
Yeah.
you're constantly working to maintain it. Like fucking bullshit.
And the worst thing you want to see is this, when you literally look out your living room window and you see somebody across the street ODing and having a seizure on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Fucking A.
That's always a pleasant sight. I saw that 4 times last summer.
fucking A, man.
Well,
4
that's-
fucking times, and twice it was the same girl.
And before
Jesus
I
Christ.
get, before I bring this over to Robert to round out this question here, I just want to point out, and I listened to a little bit of country for the last couple of days over at work, and I heard the song twice. I don't know if you guys are familiar with '90s country, the song "Where Corn Don't Grow." It is about a guy who's
Nope.
living out in the country, and
Some
he
white people
realizes that yeah, he realizes that he wants to go out and try his hand in the city, and then he realizes it's not what's cracked up to be, and goes back out
Yeah,
to the
for
country.
sure.
Look it up sometime. It's a really good song, and that kind of
I
fits
would.
with what
I
we were
would.
saying.
I would, man. I'll listen to that shit. I'll
Robert,
listen to some country.
what is your preparation for the next 2 years?
I mean, I've got blow dart guns, slingshots, knives, swords,
dart's nice. That's
axes, loaded
crossbow?
guns. I do have pistol crossbows, and I even have the two hand daggers
That's
that
fucking sick.
that
Oh.
Riddick used to use. So I've even
Nice.
got
What?
What about
Get out of
Vega
here.
Claws?
That's
so
fucking.
Gotta have the Vega
Diesel's.
Claws.
oh well, yeah, there's that. But you know what we do here. I mean, you've seen what we do in our yard. So
Yeah, I've been there.
like we can easily rip out most of that and replace it with food crops. But just doing that, and then the most important thing, I keep building relationships with my neighbors.
Mhm.
Right. I mean,
We need to do a
that's
lot more of that. I need to get
priceless.
better about
That's-
that.
Yeah.
that's what I do right now. Is I'm talking to my neighbors. We're just we we keep a nice solid something going on to where we know we can go over and knock on a door, or if they need to come knock on a door, should shit hit the fan. But I'm in Florida, so we're always waiting for shit to hit the fan because there's
Yeah.
always going to be a hurricane.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Plus, it's Florida. I've heard about Florida, man. He's quite an interesting character, that guy.
yeah, and the key is to know as many of them as you can and be friends with them, so that when Florida Man action takes place, it's not directed at you.
Right.
Robert's over there raising a fucking Florida man army, and he's starting with his fucking co-host.
Wild.
Nice.
Whatever wins.
All right. So I want to get just kind of into the nitty gritty of this because I've mentioned on Contemporary before that I think Biden got the unity that he wanted. He just didn't realize that the unification was going to be a unified hatred of him. And with the GameStop debacle and enough people saying that we just want to take it to the establishment, I think that's actually coming true here. So with everything you've seen in the last 10 days, what do you think the general acceptance is of the current presidency from your red roses, your libertarians, your established Democrats, from just from what you've seen around you? And the floor is open.
We don't want Biden. We want revenge. Signed Antifa. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I think about Antifa. Sometimes I think that's just a bunch of feds, man. I mean,
You think so?
Sometimes, I mean, again, the minute I say something like that, I kind of contradict myself because there's many people there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, man. I mean, just there's so many psyops going on.
Right, yeah.
So
That's true.
I don't know, man. I mean, I certainly don't think that Antifa are Democrats. I see.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're not. They
Yeah.
hate Democrats.
Yeah,
I
they
see.
do.
Well, people call them the enforcement arm of the
Yeah, and they're
Democrats.
wrong. Those
I think
people
it's
are
more
wrong.
Black Lives Matter. I think Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
are the street crew.
Well,
of
they're
the
starting to
Democrats.
figure out that that's not even true either, right? Because they wanted a
Yeah.
meeting with the Biden administration and still haven't gotten it or something like that.
But
Like,
those types will just vote for they'll vote for
Yeah,
the
that's
Democrat
true.
every time.
That's
You know,
true.
just I don't know why people fall for it, but they do, and
It's
I think they
becau-
continue. They
it's
will
because
continue.
they're told that the other guy is racist, and that's all that matters to most
Yeah.
black people.
yeah
100%.
Yeah.
Like, we're so sensitive about that as soon as you say the other guy's racist, that's it. You've secured.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you say that guy's racist. Are you racist? You're not racist, right? Okay, great. It's like, that's really what it
It
is.
can't be the worst problem in the world. Like being
It's not.
racist is not. It cannot. It cannot be
It's
the
not.
worst thing in the world. Like
It's
it's
not.
not even the top 5.
It's not.
If
And
it-
the
right?
main irony is that a lot of black people are insanely racist.
Of course.
Right.
People are
You
racist,
know what I'm saying?
man.
Yeah, you
I
guys
mean,
hear of
it's-
RBR
it's-
Network?
What's that?
It's human
I don't know
nature.
what that
Oh God, he's the most racist dude I've ever heard in my life.
Is it hilarious?
Oh yeah, absurd. Dude, I called him Urkel
Racist
X.
humor is
Nice.
hilarious.
Awesome. I got to
man.
check that out. Wait, you said RBR Network? I'm going to
Yeah.
check it out.
But yeah, I mean, the unity thing is fake and
Real
gay.
Brother
you know,
Radio.
there's no such thing as unity. We're so I can't have unity with the left. I won't.
Right.
There's too
Yeah.
many things that I'm they're just ridiculous. And I'm also fine with them thinking of that about me now that my life's been destroyed. I just don't care if people don't like me, and I don't have any problem with just saying I don't like them. So what's up? What's up?
You've been pushed. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a problem. I would be very happy if we could get to a point where we would just accept the fact that racism is inherently human nature, right?
Yeah.
Tribalism, right?
Right.
But what we don't need is competitive racism.
Right.
That's what we don't need.
Right.
Right.
Who can be more?
So,
You're saying?
Facts. Right. Which is the best race, or who should get? Who should get things? Who should stand out from the other? That's unimportant. We're all going to be racist. We're all going to be tribal.
Yeah.
That's how we are as humans.
Yeah.
But you got white supremacists. We're the one pure race, and then you got African Americans who are like, no, we're the one pure race because we've been around longer. And the Asians are like, well, we'll pull up the stats.
No, it's total. No, you're right though. I mean, like, people have to understand that like some level of self-preservation comes with those ideas, right? Like I think it was Jordan Peterson who was talking about like one of the things about racism is a lot of people think that it could be traced back to like, okay, so pilgrims come over here, they shake the hands of an Indian, and then an Indian dies, right? Because they have like some kind of disease that like wasn't introduced over there, right? And so it's like
smallpox blanket.
Yeah, so it's like exactly. It's like the fear of the other. Like, oh my God, they shook the hand of that white man, and now he's dead. Like, what the fuck? Like no, get those people out of here, right? And like that kind of thing about like, I don't know like what you are or who you are. That has shifted a little bit in terms of race over the past over the 20th century, right? And now it's more just like in terms of like class or like knowledge or whatever. Like if you're introducing yourself to a new group, you kind of have to like get in with that group, right? They're not just gonna necessarily, right? You got to give them a reason to bring you in, etc. So it's kind of broken down. What's that?
No, nor should they. Like,
right,
like,
exactly.
The idea of
just
welcoming of everybody is retarded.
It's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Last I checked, you got to earn your way into a group.
Yeah,
fucking A, right? Like, exactly. Like what? Like, so when did that? I think Black people in particular, we've been tricked into using like the whole racism thing. We've been tricked into not preserving ourselves through that narrative. Right. And it's been like this whole like, oh, racism is so bad. Like, you got to accept everybody and all this kind of stuff. And that's actually had a detrimental effect on a lot of Black people. Right. It's like now we want to be like we want to be forced into like all these like white institutions and all these things. But also we want other people to like get into our institutions. What ended up happening with that? Right. White people come in. They spend money. They spend money with Black people, right? No, that's not what happens. Black people go spend money with white people, and the white people go spend money with white people, and that kind of thing has actually like fucked us. So this whole idea that like that discriminating anything is just inherently bad on its own face.
Yeah, it's actually inherently good.
Yeah,
discrimination is inherently good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's different types of it, right?
Yeah.
And
you
that's
ever read that Thomas Sowell book?
Absolutely. Discrimination Disparity. Yeah. I have it right next to my book. Absolutely. I've been reading it. I've been reading it again like over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, like 100%, it's like all of this stuff, we've been tricked into thinking that these things that are inherently human nature are somehow evil. And they're not. They're not, you know? It's infuriating, honestly.
Dude, that goes all the way to you could take monogamy,
right?
right.
Facts.
Like, right. Monogamy is not inherently human nature.
Right. It's not right.
This idea of monogamy and mating for life, that's not human. That's not normal. Right. We breed and procreate.
Yeah.
We're an animal.
Absolutely.
I'm staying out of this one. You guys know my wife.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the monogamy is one of the monogamy, telling the truth, and working hard are the only things I'm really willing to do for the greater good. These things are good for the greater good. Anything more than
I can accept that to a certain extent. I can
voting the right way to help the collective. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
the
amount of discrimination that had to go down just for us 5 to be in this Zoom call is
right,
incredible.
Facts. Right.
Like so much. You know, all of us chose to do this. I was napping. It felt good.
Right.
Decided to show up. You know.
Right. Yeah. I discriminated against hanging out with my girlfriend for another couple hours, you know?
Mm.
But it's like the thing about the monogamy thing. I want to rain on this because actually, this is a topic that's interesting to me. Monogamy actually benefits, in my opinion, it benefits women more than it benefits men. And the reason why I would say that is because when you have a situation where you have women essentially are the choosers, right? In those situations, and they can kind of like control the way that like men spread their seed, so to speak. And what that ends up doing is limiting the amount of the partners that a man can like kind of like spread with, right? So the amount of like clones, I guess you want to call it, right, that he can create in his own image and help the world from that perspective, right? Like create more versions of himself and create more like raise more children. And so in my opinion, that's all I'm saying. In my opinion, it actually benefits women more than it benefits men, because we actually aren't able to do the whole, weeding out of the weak men in that case, right? Like,
dude, you're right on the money.
Well,
you are right on the money.
But to loop back to something we were talking about earlier, if you look at our present society, what media is teaching us, even though like you said, monogamy may benefit women, we're also learning now that it's okay for women to not be monogamous.
Well,
even if they're in
supposed to be.
right,
Yep.
like
right.
sleeping with another woman is perfectly okay for women now. Like that, we're comfortable with that. And sleeping outside a relationship, well, she had a weak moment, and he'll get over it. Look how often men in shows get over her cheating or sleeping around or
that's a white guy thing.
Yeah.
The joke was like, what did a black guy say when he caught his girlfriend cheating? It's like he said, "Get the fuck out of here, bitch." What did a white guy say? Like, I apologize or something like that.
Yeah.
To go back with what Chris was saying with the monogamy thing, I just have to add, and then we got to get these other two questions here. But I got to ask, can you say that back one more time, but in an Albertian accent and a Kermit the Frog voice?
No, I think that monogamy better. I can't do that. What?
With natural selection in the workforce, bucko.
Yeah.
And, the thing about that is when you're sorry as a white man, things don't always work out that way, okay?
Oh, he got it.
All right.
You can save me.
We're going to take this out of the society. We've talked a lot about society. I want to take this back into the politics because that's what a lot of people come to my channel for.
Fuck that.
No, so
we live in a society.
I'm going to ask you politically, where do you think this goes? And I want to first ask about the midterms and then the next presidential election here. So this is an open question again. What effect do you think the executive orders and everything that Biden's doing, promising to do, throwing Black Lives Matter to the side, everything else that he's doing with this, what effect is that going to have on the midterms? Open discussion, open floor.
It's hard to know, man.
Yeah.
I'll
think
go
it's
first. If they pass House Resolution 1, it won't matter. Because if that passes and they take over, we already know the courts aren't going to uphold the Constitution. They've already wiped their ass with it, as we've seen, especially over the last year. What I see happening is no outsider is ever going to even have a chance to hold public office ever again. That's how I see it. It's all going to be relegated to bloodlines and whoever is approved by the club.
But it already is.
Yes.
But now it'll be a codified law.
Right. I think you're right there. I think that's going to be really hard to get anybody outside the establishment into office again for a while. It'll take a long time before we have something like that happen. But I honestly have to say, over the next 2 years, I think the midterms are going to solely hinge on how much money is put into the American public's hands over the next year.
Like how much socialism
and who who fights against it, who lets it go through, and that's going to determine how the primaries go. Because right now we are in a handout society right now. We're waiting for money to be dropped on us because of everything that's happened. You know, so many people are hinging on articles when they see stimulus this, stimulus that. You know, it's I think that's what it's going to hinge on.
Yeah, we got to hold the line, yo. Not one
Yeah.
more dollar. No
Fucking A.
socialized anything. I mean,
I agree.
Disagreeing.
I just want my
is
job
a
back.
lot. Yeah, disagreeing
Yeah, exactly.
is big power. Just no. And when someone brings up a study, you're like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'll
Yeah.
pay more money so there won't be socialism. How about that? And I don't care about like the collective is so dumb. So
Yeah.
just hold the line.
You should
the
have
line
you
can
got to have
start-
your own collective.
Yeah,
But
You know what I mean?
But the voice of the collective is in control for the next 2 years, for the
not
most
of my
part,
life.
right?
Not of my life.
Well,
though.
well, things that
So
are
with you.
things that are going to impact you,
Yeah.
provided you don't unplug.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean, I'll
most
pay my
part.
taxes, but I'm saying that we got to bring back shaming and disagreeing. Just
Yeah,
disagree
I agree.
openly
Well-
and right to
Well,
their
that's
face.
dude. I just straight up did that the other day. I had a conversation with someone. They were talking about exactly this because I said I personally don't think the government should exist at all.
That's a good
that's
take.
where I'm at. Especially
good
after all of this the Trump era. That's what I came out of the Trump era with now. I don't think the government should exist.
So
Period.
you're an
at
ANCAP?
all.
Yeah, cool.
I've gone all the way to that side now. I agree with them 100%, and I have agreed with them for a long time. But I've always thought like, oh, maybe some of these things. I don't know. Like, maybe we
But
should
you're
have a little
saying
bit of
federal.
government.
I mean, what do you think?
No,
that,
I think that communities should exist and they should figure their shit out.
Yeah, so that's not an ANCAP.
No, because I'm not calling for a government. I'm not calling for a state at all. I don't think that there should be police. I don't think that there should be government allocation of funds. I don't think there should be politicians. Because look, think about it. The politicians don't produce any fucking value at all. What do they produce?
What I'm saying, if we lived in a town and there was 20 adults and they agreed that there was a government, should the kids have to play ball with that?
Well, the kids have to listen to their parents, so I don't think that that's
The parents are all the government. All the parents are in the government in this situation.
what. So they're calling themselves the government.
They're
Or
saying,
like, are they
these-
taxing each other and stuff?
They're,
Like,
they're
are they, like-
voluntary taxes. Voluntary taxes. They've
So
agreed.
that means,
there's
like,
20 of us. There's 20 of us. We've agreed that the tax rate is the tax rate. Should the 17-year-olds are the 17-year-olds allowed to rebel?
Yes.
Wow. Fuck that.
Yeah. I mean,
that.
a 17-year-old. Like,
Not
if I
my
want to
son.
leave, leave,
I'll
right?
slap the shit out of him.
And so if I
Like,
if I have a
no,
kid,
not
but
my
so,
son.
but so that's the difference, right? So it's different than like just saying if you're saying it's the government that they want to rebel against, aka like not live in that state anymore or something.
Oh, they
sure.
can leave.
Yeah.
They can leave,
Right.
but not at 17.
Okay, but that's different than saying that because that's like a parents to
Yeah,
child
that's a
thing.
good
Like
point.
my kid is gonna follow my rules because it's my kid, right?
What I'm saying is
I'm saying that I don't
local
want.
government is the logical extension of a family in a small situation. That's what I'm saying.
Well, a family is its own government.
Yeah.
In that case, right?
Yeah.
But that would be that there would be different governments going around. My thing is, I don't want like some centralized fucking district telling me where I can or can't send my kids to school, where I can, if I can homeschool my kids, if I can fucking shoot my gun outside the back in my backyard,
Mhm.
as long as there's nobody around. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
To me, you're not not you, but like a person is not an ANCAP if they would only an ANCAP is someone that doesn't accept government on any level. And if you can be trapped into a thought experiment when you're not actually an ANCAP.
Yeah, I don't think the government in that case, what you're telling me, that sounds more like a parent to child relationship thing.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
which is not a government, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like every man hopefully is the president of his own fucking house, right? So
Yeah.
like that's like
That's
I'm
tight.
talking about an overarching if a school district is telling me where the fuck I can send my kid to school, fuck that school district. I don't want that. I don't want
Well-
that. I want to fucking be able to homeschool my kid if I want. Like there's places where they fucking government is making homeschooling illegal in fucking parts of Europe. What the fuck is that? That kind of stuff is why government shouldn't
Europe,
exist.
they're doing
Europe
that in
is
parts of
dipped in the
California.
gay though.
What's up?
They're dipped in gay over there in
That's
Europe.
a fact.
So
That's a fact.
Interesting expression.
I got it from a guy in my live chat. I can't claim it.
It's true
Well,
though. It's
alright.
true.
I have to. I will say this to you. Behavior is that I think a family is the ultimate expression, if run properly, is the ultimate expression of an authoritarian government.
Sure.
and it's
But-
good.
Sure, I agree with that. Like, if you want to say that, like I said, every man is the president of his own house, right? But like, that's not me telling or me having any influence on how the fucking president of the house next door deals with their fucking kids or whatever. That's their own fucking business.
But you will start telling them whenever it starts crossing your property line.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah, of course. But
Right?
that's something that we should be able to
like,
deal
okay.
with. I should be able to fucking talk to the guy next door, and we'll figure it out. Why do I need some other fucking guy involved in the middle of it?
What do they call
Listen-
that when you buy property? It's like there's the property line, and then there's a space in between that kind of either both people own, or it's like an allowance or an allotance or something like that. It's a real
I'm
estate
not
term.
sure. Yeah, I'm not
But
sure.
that shit exists in all places. So that gray area, that's the reason I don't call myself an ANCAP or even a libertarian, because I make I used to be an ANCAP 2 years ago, and there is overlap. There's not always just a moment where it's their property line and then your property line ideologically.
Yeah,
There's
you have to
overlap
fucking figure it out.
Yeah, but
between you
people
two.
don't. People are retarded.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that some other authority should force it. Like,
Yeah,
if you
unless you
guys
agree
can't
to
figure it out
Unless
on
you
your
agree
own
to
without
it.
killing each other, then
unless you
what
agree
the fuck
to
is
it.
your problem? Like,
I'm saying, like, there's a thing where we can agree to having a party that is the dispute regulation organization. That's a Stefan Molyneux term. And is that a government? I don't know. It's just
I don't
fun
think
thought
that's a
experiment,
government.
but-
I don't
but
think that's a government.
You're on my team. To me, you're on my squad if you're anti-centralization.
Absolutely.
That's how I kind of think about
Yeah,
it. Like,
no, I hear you.
Because ANCAPs need. I don't know. I think if you're just centralized state, then you're on the right squad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like I said, like I was like for a long time, I was like, oh, I agree with these people, and then I started like getting like reading more stuff, and like I was like, you know what, it actually makes sense. I do think to some degree that like more, a lot of people are still going to be in this mode where they think like, well, this is the way things have always been, and how do we change that and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that that's an uphill challenge, but dude, at the end of the day, like I think if enough people like were to wake up and realize, hey, like we don't actually need some fucking overarching families or legacies of people taking our money and telling us fucking what to do with it. Like we know better than you and your community what to do with your fucking money. Like honestly, that idea, waking up to the fact that that's what the government is, the organization of political means, that's the Rothbard term, right? That's fucking bullshit. And waking up to that really just got me just to like to want to let go of all of it. That's why I'm an accelerationist and I wanted to all burn down.
All right, and on that, I'm going to put up the last question here, and then we're going to hit some live chat here. The last question is the same as the question we had before, except it's now going to include the next presidential election. So where do you think the Biden presidency puts the next presidential election?
You mean
Based on what we've
Harris?
seen in 10 days. Yes,
mean
and-
Harris,
yes, Harris.
right?
You mean Harris?
There's no way that old bastard's gonna live to the next election. No fucking way.
I'll predict it right now. Ron DeSantis is going to be the GOP nominee.
You think so?
Yep, I do. I like him, all things considered. But yeah, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the GOP nominee. The dude's a boss.
Well, I'm not voting anymore, so I don't give a shit.
Cool, man. Can you? It'd be tight if you could sell your vote, son. That'd be so.
That
tight.
would be kind of tight.
Yeah, that'd be
actually. Yeah.
awesome. Or you could sign her off to someone else.
That's
be
real
sick.
capitalism.
Yeah, yo, that'd be awesome.
Now, I wouldn't speculate on who the GOP candidate would be, provided Biden makes it the next 4 years.
Dude, he's
However-
gonna die tomorrow, son.
However,
He's been dead. He's already dead.
You
man.
guys are
That's the
gonna love
fucking.
what I'm gonna.
if
It's Weekend in Bernie's up there,
however, if they unplug him sometime in the next 4 years and Kamala runs, I would be willing to think that the Republicans might just do some really off the wall, all in move and tap Ivanka.
Ugh.
Oh no!
Ugh.
No. Think
Did
about
you
it.
say tap Ivanka?
I don't want to see the Trump name in anything.
I
know
you
Get
don't,
them outta
but
here.
The office
Look.
of the former president is
I
open.
hereby
Don't
nominate
you know?
my daughter Ivanka. She's very sexy.
Dude,
I'm
he's
just
already
telling you.
running the shadow government in Florida. You didn't
I
know?
love it.
If she plays her cards right and she plays ball with them over the next 4 years, I would not put it past Republicans. That old school mentality still carrying over, where you got to try some stupid bold move and play identity politics and the whole 9 yards. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be surprised if it happens.
You guys ready for some Nostradamus action?
Oh, you got some predictions, RC?
You know who I think the
Okay,
GOP
go.
nominee is going to be in 2024?
Let's
Wait
go.
till you hear this. You ready?
Let's go.
Tulsi Gabbard.
What?
That's a good
Yeah,
I totally
Tulsi
see that.
Gabbard.
Totally.
She is
No
going to walk on the Democrats.
females.
She's going to go GOP. Mark my
No
words.
female.
No women.
Dude,
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 Never.
it's that time. It is that time. It is you're
that's
going to
fucking
see
dumb.
women
I didn't say it was
involved
a
in
good
the
thing. I just said that's how I'm seeing
you're
it.
gonna
You
see
know,
women-
Choice, I think. Yeah.
women are going to be involved in the presidential race
Oh,
moving
man.
forward in some shape.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm
That's-
sorry.
that's-
It
that's
just
okay.
Accept it.
That's like
That's
2 years
actually
away
fine.
from genocide if that happens.
That's actually fine. That's the accelerationist. Let's go. Keep burning it down.
Bro.
Go
Well,
ahead.
Because you know what?
Let's fucking go.
I do have to take RRC's side on this one here, just based on the fact that
Good
yes, I
call.
think that it
It might happen.
possibly
That would
could
be
because you're
nuts.
running somebody who's
That would blow my mind.
who's got a more swarthy color of skin, who is a female, and who has already sharpened her claws in Kamala Harris once.
Yeah, that's true.
The
Yo,
GOP
that would actually be pretty crazy.
need her desperately because that's the only thing that's ever going to restore their credibility to their voter base. They've already betrayed the people outright on January 6th. The
Yeah.
entire Republican voter base knows it. Right now, they are all in the danger zone. Every single last one of them, even the ones that supported Trump, because a lot of them just sat down, put their heads down, and let it all happen and play out the way that it played out. The entire country feels betrayed right now, both the right and the left. So and if anybody is going to pull the left over towards the center with us, she's the only one that's going to do it. Obviously,
Yeah, that's
Trump's
true.
not going to do it. Trump is so polarizing, it's ridiculous. With her, I don't like a lot of her policies. I think she's way off on a lot of
She's a
things.
socialist.
But if you're
Yeah.
going to talk about rallying people, she of all people has the best chance for the Republicans because the Democrats will never run for her because she won't answer to them. She won't play ball with them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless they come up with a video of her getting gangbanged in the barracks while she served in the National Guard, they got nothing on her, and she's going to do what she wants.
Yo, with
And
this
the hell with
culture, that might be a good thing to the pod.
Yeah,
to the
yeah. Where can I
Yeah,
see that?
right.
By the way,
I'd like to see it, but that's another story.
I'd like.
She didn't save it to the cloud. Don't worry.
she might be a socialist, but so is Hitler, dude.
Yeah,
You know, that
true.
doesn't mean you can't be right wing, yo.
yeah.
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 All right. That is all that I have for questions for you guys here. We're going to check in with the live chat here. If you guys got a jet before we're done with the live chat, let me know so I can give you a chance to plug your stuff. Where did we leave off? Looks like Wyatt says he's happy to see the RRC. Thank you, Wyatt. Wizard Beard, who's a new name in here, welcome on in, says Odyssey is going to start rolling out streaming before
Yeah.
long, I hear.
Hope so.
I heard live shoots coming too, so that's going to be another really based one, I think. As soon as live
Hope
stream
so.
hits restream, or live shoot
Live
hits
shoot?
restream, I'm on it.
We should make Freedom Scoop a streaming network.
That takes a lot more technology than I think we have currently, and a lot more money
can
than
do
we
it.
have.
Steven, get to work
Yeah,
on that.
it takes a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
I know somebody
Yeah,
doing it.
It takes a lot of time.
Let's see. Where else were we? I don't know when Robert said he was exposing himself here, but apparently Ron Helton took offense to it.
Take it easy, Ron.
You had to be there.
Spartan and Ron Helton are trying to donate lemons in spirit. Unfortunately, we are still demonetized over on DLive, as is everybody with the X tag, except for fucking Marfoogle News because he's Marfoogle fucking News.
And lift the veil. Ed, are you streaming on Trovo right now?
I am on Trovo right now.
Are you Ed's blog Twitter?
J Edgar 101.
Okay. Dude, it's really, really easy to get monetized over there.
I'm about to
on
start
Trovo.
doing that. I'm gonna do some gaming tonight on.
On
Trovo.
on who?
Trovo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doing
get
it.
on
I'm
that for
fucking
sure.
Doing it
I-
tonight.
yeah,
I'm
man,
on
after
Trovo.
this.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's go.
Let's fucking
Stonks.
go, baby. Stonks. Yo, everybody, not financial
Buy
advice.
Doge?
Not
You buy-
not financial advice. Do not buy Doge. Buy GME and AMC. Not financial advice. Not a financial advisor.
I tweeted out something that said me and the boys telling everyone to buy the dip, and it was the scene from The Sandlot where they're all puking from chewing tobacco.
Yo, that's
Buy the dip.
oh no.
You know what? I'd like to see the day traders go crazy and start buying WWE stocks.
Nice.
Yo,
That would be fucking hilarious to see
that's
that
not a
company worth
bad
$5 billion
idea.
and then collapse 2 days later. I would fucking love to see them crash and burn.
I don't know if they have the same fucking short positions. If that's, it's not very stable. Oh, not a good idea.
Yeah.
I was trying to say,
It's a hell of a lot of fun though.
I was trying to say get fucking FLO for Wonder Bread because they would never see it coming.
Dude, I was saying it was kind of a joke, but yo, let's bring back Radio Shack, son. That is a tight stock.
Yeah.
But their stock is so bad, right? It's something.
Do
Yeah,
they
I
even
don't think-
still have?
well,
Do
no.
they even have a brick and mortar store left?
No, I don't think
That
so.
means no. That might be good though for the
Yeah.
for the game is because it's probably being shorted like a fuck. I gotta look that up.
Well, if it's
I don't do
already
this.
low,
I don't do
if
this.
it's
I don't
already
do this.
low, it can't be shorted that much more. It's
How low is it?
I think it's like less than a cent, dude. It's
Get outta
crazy.
here.
Yeah, you know
What?
those little transistors they used to
Yeah.
sell by the bulk? Yeah, they're probably worth less than that.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, RSH. Let's see. It's like 37 cents in
Yeah, you can't
2015. Was the last time it's? Yeah, it's
Dude,
probably-
I don't know that they exist as a company anymore.
I don't think they do.
No, they
either.
do. They do. I looked it up the other day.
Do
Okay,
they still
so-
have an
Still
online
traded.
presence?
It's
Their
at, it's
stock's
at,
still traded.
It's currently at 0.145 USD.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah,
like
you're
a
right.
cent.
That's
Yeah.
way too low.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep
Wow.
going here. Spartan says, get a giant picture of Biden inside your house for protection.
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous.
That'll definitely keep children away, that's for sure.
Come on, man. I just
Smelling
want to
them.
smell.
Corn pop.
The old president sniffing.
Touch my
bill.
legs.
He's got hairy legs.
Yeah, he's got hairy legs and they're blonde. They turn blonde in the sun. And the kids come over and they touch my legs and oh no.
I don't
Oh
know.
no, Joe.
I don't know what you guys are talking about with Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Anals and Charlie's Transials, but I don't want to know what's in your kink, any of you guys.
Charlie's ain't hell.
Remember, I made a reference to Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, I know. I
talking-
just don't want to know
Yeah.
what the kink is.
If they reboot Charlie's Angels,
They
I
did.
guarantee you it'll be the 3 gay kids from Glee.
They did reboot Charlie's Angels.
No, they did. They did do a reboot of it, and I haven't watched that one either.
No, it's bad.
It was bad enough, the ones that they already rebooted with Cameron Diaz and stuff. But
You didn't like those either?
I was on the fence.
I liked
I mean,
the first one.
I mean,
Not
it
even
was
enough
good eye
tits and
candy.
ass either.
Yeah, I was really into Lucy Liu when I was younger too. So
It was
I
good
like
eye
anything
candy.
that
It was
she
definitely
watched.
good eye
Yeah.
candy. But
And Drew Barrymore was hot too back in the day.
but I have the added advantage of having grown up watching the actual Charlie's
Right,
Angels
yeah.
when it was on TV.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about jerking off to a pantsuit? I'm
What?
just saying.
I just turned my
To a pantsuit.
my headphones.
Right, because they would
just
always wear,
hit my
they would
ears.
always wear those pantsuits from back
Yeah.
in the 70s. And
That's
stuff.
fucking
What
wild.
a thing to come back to.
Yeah, I was more a Wonder Woman guy.
Oh,
What?
wow,
What? Linda Carter? Oh yeah.
Oh, she was. Oh,
Now
She's
Wonder
still
Woman
hot.
is a guy.
She's still hot. She's still hot.
I wanted her spinning right there in my face.
Yeah, I mean, even though she's
Oh.
1,000, she's still hot.
Yeah, she's
Right.
still very attractive.
Yikes.
Let's see. They're talking about
What
the
do you
fact
mean,
that we're trying to
yikes?
take
Look
the
her up
chicken
right
out.
now,
I see.
Steven.
Yo, 1,000 year. That's in the grave, son.
She's
Well,
like
she's not actually
she's
1,000
like
years
60
old.
something.
You know,
We're not talking about the real Wonder Woman.
Wonder Schman.
Yeah.
She's like I don't know, she's 69. She's 69 speaking of
Oh,
that.
she's the perfect age.
Nice. Well then.
Live chat.
Now we're talking
Live
about
chat.
Linda Carter.
Live chat. Yeah.
Let's see. Where was it? I just had one from Spartan here that I wanted to go. Yeah, Spartan says new Green Deal: eat plastic. And somebody
Oh,
apparently is
God.
trying to take Ron Houghton's chickens. Learn to enjoy human meat.
We don't live in Hollywood. What are you talking about?
I know, right? Like the fuck?
What is a good number for chickens to lay eggs on? You guys seem to be in disagreement for that there. Elephant Man says learn how to use a hammer, vice grips, and duct tape, but he uses the brand name duct tape.
Yeah, just don't carry him in your trunk because that looks really suspicious.
Let's see.
fucking
Ron
dumb.
Helt says that wasn't that they did it with all females. It's the fact that they thought they did something great and they had some lousy actresses. And they bragged
Bro,
about
I
making female.
will say, there are like 100 Radio Shacks still. I looked
Are
it up
there?
right now.
Shut
There's like
the front
100,
door.
yo. Yeah,
There's still a blockbuster video too.
Yeah, there's
That's
one, I
Alaska,
believe.
though.
There's
right?
one. There's
Yeah.
one left, right? Yeah.
One left.
Bruh.
They have the gladiator breastplate from
That's fucking tough.
Russell Crowe. They have that on display there. I remember the
Oh.
whole Stephen Colbert thing that went on with that.
Let's bring back Radio Shack, son. Let's go.
I'm into
You
it.
know what? If
I
you
used to love Radio
if you
Shack.
think about it from a penny trader standpoint, that would be a great one to make a move on, because even if
Yeah.
you drove it up to $5, you could
Oh,
really
yeah.
stand to make
Yeah.
a little chunk of change off of
Yeah,
that
for sure.
if enough people were investing.
Yeah, you buy 10,000 shares. If you can get it up to $5, you got 50 grand right there.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm into it.
Ron
Let's fucking
Helton
do it.
says, I will miss these hangouts when the shit hits the fan. Steven answers, we'll always have the campfire.
Always.
Elephant
100%
Man
of the
says, an international group of geneticists studying Y chromosomes data have found that nearly 8% of men living in the region of the former Mongol Empire carry Y chromosomes that are nearly identical. That translates to 0.5% of the male population of the world, or roughly 16 million descendants living today, and they all came from Genghis Khan.
He was busy.
Oh, he was very busy.
I think I should go get the wife tested.
Studio Fortress says, I prefer to pay less money and keep more of my income. And then he also says, you should all favor healthcare reform. Americans pay more for healthcare than other Western nations. So the Studio Fortress he's got a hard-on for socialized medicine. Don't you all?
Well,
Ew.
It's immoral.
look, I have to say I'm on the fence about it. I mean, it's just with the bureaucracy that's involved with healthcare and the insurance companies and the federal government involved with it, the fucking cost of healthcare is astronomical. It's outrageous. Whenever you're running a mid-level income, when you're just getting by income, it's hard to afford insurance or just go to the doctor. I mean, I've told you, I've had things done, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, how much money they charge. for
Robert's
the
definitely
little they
got a
do.
point here, but here's the problem with that universal health care, and it's already happening in Canada. Once they institute it, they get to decide who's worthy and who's not, and they will euthanize you. They have done so in Canada. There was a patient with
Jesus
terminal
fucking
ALS.
Christ.
He appealed to the state that he needed 24-hour round-the-clock care. The government was only willing to pay for 20 out of the 24 hours. And the family just couldn't afford the other 4 hours. So instead of trying to work with the guy, they court-ordered his euthanization and they killed him. That's what
Jesus
universal
fucking
health care
Christ.
will bring to you eventually. It's happening.
And
every time.
it was court ordered, or
It
it
was
was court
court-ordered.
requested.
And
No,
then,
it was court-ordered.
And then some leftists will come out there and say, oh, that never happens.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, there were
Leftists-
news publications
leftists
all
don't
over
know
Canada
what
that
the fuck they're
reported
Leftists
talking
on
will
it.
say that is for the greater good, and the guy probably wasn't happy anyway. They
Yeah,
think they
right.
know they have the definition of happiness.
And morality.
Yeah, man. I just tweeted this out that the reason to oppose it is because it's immoral. Don't fall for these pragmatic or economic arguments. It's immoral. Socialized medicine is immoral.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Because nobody should have the right to decide whether somebody else lives or dies.
right. So
No one has that right. I don't care who you
I
are.
agree.
Now I won't I don't want to be like a doomsayer or anything, but there are prophetic
But I
movies like Soylent Green and movies like that. I'm just telling you right now, with Social Security about to take a dump, and you've now got right now a new wave of baby boomers in process, right? Everybody's been stuck at home. There's going to be a rash of children born. You're going to have to figure out something to do with the elderly at some point, because they are going to be a huge drain on society. So from an authoritarian standpoint, a government standpoint, something's going to have to be done to take care of those people. And you're the generation, you guys are going to be one of the generations involved in having to make decisions on what happens to elderly people in this country when they can't work and somehow they've got to be taken care of after generations of people not being able to save money like they supposedly could back in the day.
Yeah.
I would rather see the money go to the care of the elderly than to the care of these kids, because the elderly earned it.
Yeah.
They shaped this world and paved the way for us to come in and take over. And the very, very least we could do, just simply, never mind economically or pragmatically, just because it's the right thing to do, just as decent human beings, we should respect and honor our elders and take care of them.
But
Yeah, that's
That's private.
The government shouldn't have anything to do with that.
Problem.
That's the private.
The
That
government
should
shouldn't have
mean
anything
that's
to
an
do with
argument
that.
for it to be privatized,
Right.
Because
Yeah,
if
exactly.
if the people feel that way, they should take care.
Take
of the
care of their
elderly.
fucking
Yeah,
parents.
they should take care of the elderly. But forcing people to do it, and first of all, most of the people that are fans of socialized healthcare are they're the young people and they're looking out for themselves. They're not they
right,
use
exactly.
the emotions of the old people
Right.
as just a hammer to swing. They want it for themselves and they're worried
Right.
about their own future, which means
Right.
they should learn skills and work harder.
Yeah, but they don't want to do any of that. Learning skills is hard, Steven.
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah,
Yo. It takes
we have
10
an
years.
entire generation of selfish, entitled children on the way.
Facts.
Right.
On
I mean,
the
they
way.
already exist.
They'll be here
They already
soon.
exist. I'm
Well,
fucking
you know,
33. My generation sucks.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm going to be 40 in a couple of
Illuminati
weeks.
confirmed.
Man.
Well, I would ask you this. So is it a fair trade-off to say that you would be willing to keep welfare and drop Social Security if welfare was only for people of an elderly age and you could no longer get it if you were young and able to work?
No.
No welfare,
Get rid
no
of it.
Social
No
Security.
welfare.
Get rid of all of it.
Social
socialism.
Security because you paid into it.
Yeah.
You earned something on
No,
it.
That's
better
It's
than
not
welfare.
just a handout.
So-
Social
they-
Security-
well,
we're
they-
never
better
going to
than
get Social Security anyway.
Dude, that's
though.
a lie. That's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
longer a truth.
That's never
That is
been. It hasn't been a truth since as long as I've been alive.
So, but some of the
Fair
people
point.
alive, did pay into it. Like there's still, people that are, 60
Yeah.
and 70, they did.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that that's a reason to keep the system going.
It's
Dude,
not
it should
solvent
just
any
let it
longer.
burn.
Yeah,
It's not,
it's
you're
not
going to
be
have to
solvent
start
for
printing
yeah.
money for the Social
welfare
Security
is
system
so immoral,
before
man.
long.
Like welfare
agree.
is completely immoral.
I agree.
Yeah.
Welfare
yeah.
is not a system of assistance. It's a system of control.
Yeah.
Control
That's all it was
independency.
ever
Yep.
meant to do, because
100%.
everybody remembers that quote that LBJ said, if this welfare shit works, I'll have those goddamn you-know-what's voting
Yeah, yeah,
Democratic
for-
for 200
for sure.
years. And he wasn't shitting.
Well, just
he was about to
keep
beat it for him.
Yeah. Chris grabs his Glock.
I just
How do you know
want
I have a Glock?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you guys are prepared for having to make
It's 'cause
that
I'm
decision.
black.
You're going to be a part of that conversation and decision.
No, I'm going to take
in
care of
about
my
20
parents,
or
and everybody
20 or-
else can fucking fuck off.
20 or 30 years. That's going to be the conversation.
I'm
You're
going
be
to
a
be
part
real.
of.
I'm going to take care of my parents and my lady's parents.
As
Or my
you
lady's mom.
should. And
That's it.
that's what you're supposed to do.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep going here. Ron Helton says there's an easy fix for healthcare. It's free market healthcare. It works for LASIK. It can work for all of healthcare. Transparent pricing would become the norm with competition. The government needs to get the hell out of healthcare. It's not a right. It is a service.
There shouldn't even be licensing, dude. There shouldn't even be like regulations on that shit. It should be completely free.
I agree.
I'd like for completely free market.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
there
I
shouldn't
agree.
occupational licensing is a problem too.
Well, people they'll say that like, oh, we need regulation because what if you're a quack doctor? And it's like, well, that's your own problem for going to a quack doctor, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
There should
Are
be
you
free
kidding me? Most of the credible doctors that they have listed
Are
nowadays,
crack. Yeah,
they come
yeah,
into your
yeah.
room, they make you sit and wait for 2 hours. They have 15 assistants come in,
Yep.
take your blood pressure 5 times, ask you for your date of birth 20 times.
Yeah.
Then the doctor comes in, he looks at a chart, goes, and writes you a script, and that's his big fucking
yeah.
job for $250,000 a year. Fuck these doctors.
More than that,
They're
man.
all. We have the fast food equivalent of medical care, because you
Facts.
notice they're not doctors anymore. They're healthcare providers.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Well, that's
All right,
I
good
went.
point.
I went to emergency room, and then 4 different doctors came in and talked to me while I was in the emergency room. Each one of them said basically the same thing as the other 3 doctors, and on my bill, I was charged by each doctor for their consultation.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Thank you. 4 different medical practitioners talked to me while I was there, and I was charged by each
Jesus
and every one of them.
fucking Christ.
So when I tell you the
Dude, every
healthcare
time they take
system
your
is
vitals,
out of
they charge
hand,
your insurance.
$40,000 is what they billed me for going into the emergency room to have a hernia checked. $40,000.
Yeah, yo, Ripes, we got to go back to the days of just rubbing some dirt on it and going
Fucking
home.
A, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that actually fucking made people stronger, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think interfering in the medical science is kind of a Darwinian argument, but I think medical science and all that stuff has actually fucking made our race weaker, like the human race weaker, because we're actually holding on to people that like otherwise would have just died at like 2 years old.
Eugenics. I like
I'm just saying.
All right. Hold on. We got to keep going here. Spartan.
Jed's channel
I'm
news.
sorry,
I'm
I'm
actually
getting
going to
getting
step
fucking
out for the night,
controversial.
guys. But Ed,
hold on.
thank
Love
you
your
very
RC.
much for
Thanks for
having me
coming.
on.
Hey, plug your stuff before you
Peace
head out of
out,
here.
man.
All right. If you guys like my little jokes and everything, go to rrcpodcast.com. Check us out. And if you want some good beef jerky, go to pistolpete's.com, pistolpeachjerky.com. Coupon code RRC, and you'll get yourself a pocket constitution signed by yours truly.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys.
You're the man,
guys have
RRC.
a good night.
Take care.
Nice to see you.
All right. And then there were 4. Spartan says, you always have a hierarchy. No government is not a solution to bad government. You always have a leader, even in a group of 2. Someone
you
has to
don't
make
need
the
a
final
government.
decision. The problem is we have
You can have a
leaders with
leader
low
without
morals.
a government. Tell them you can have a leader without a government. Those ideas are not they're mutually exclusive ideas. People need to understand this.
Well, Spartan also wants UBI, so keep that in mind.
Fuck
Yikes.
you.
Yikes. I know that.
Spartan also says Kushner will move the U.S. capital to Israel. And my channel is probably gone from YouTube at this point. The breakdown with Perkinoff says I'm demonetized on DLive with 7 followers.
I'm going over to
It's nothing
Trovo.
to do with that.
I'm gonna
It's X
Yeah.
tag.
Yep.
I'm gonna take you guys your guys'
Trovo's dope.
advice.
I've
Trovo
already
would
be
made
on
like
Trovo.
$70 there in like 8 or 9 days.
Fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
it's good.
Fuck Twitch. Peace out. Twitch doesn't let me multi-stream as an
I'm
affiliate
monetized
anyway,
on
so
Twitch.
fuck them.
I now can
I am
take
too,
subs
but-
on Twitch.
Yeah. But
They
I
let you
have been for a
multi-stream?
while. They don't.
What?
But as an affiliate, you're not allowed to multi-stream.
But I do. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say
They're
that.
gonna find you. They have people
will
sweeping
find
stuff.
you.
So whatever I do,
I will kill you.
I started doing a stream on YouTube, and I do that just separately on YouTube. But now I'll do YouTube and Trovo because there's no. But with Twitch, if you're an affiliate, you're technically not supposed to multi-stream.
Cool. Well, I'll wait till they find out. Just
Yeah.
another. I got a backup channel too, so.
Facts.
Well, Elephant Man says there's Radio Shack still in stores across the country. I
Yeah,
didn't
which
realize.
made me look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
So I guess we're all going to make a move on Radio Shack tonight.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. Honestly, we should
go.
talk about this. Let's
You know,
fucking.
I used to
let's fucking
know a
do
guy that did inventory for Radio Shack. He said it was the biggest fucking nightmare ever.
Really?
it. I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like those bins of transistors
Yeah,
and shit you can
right.
think of, he'd have
Yeah.
to sit and count every single one of them.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
Makes
These are
sense.
back in the old days of inventory, but
We're,
Yeah.
we're
How do
any
you,
of
how
that
do you
Twisted?
make that fun? Like you can't.
that was before they started just doing it by weight. They were like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
You mean multiples? We just use math and we can. Oh,
Ah! Were any of those transistors twisted by any chance? My corn days are coming back.
I don't. You had no friends back then, did you, sir?
It's like what?
you say that
corn
like
was
he's got a
good.
lot now.
Exactly.
No.
He's got good friends now. Yep.
Spartan
No new
says
friends.
UBI now. UBI and get rid of every other program. Welfare is alone.
Nah, fuck UBI, man.
They
Fuck
they
that.
want Spartan wants your UBI.
No, that's fucking
Um,
dumb.
Spartan also says there's no
I'm
such
not even
thing
gonna
as free
argue it. I'm just gonna
market.
say it's fucking dumb.
Social Security is insolvent because the government uses the funds to fund the family court system. That I
I
didn't
don't know.
know.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about that.
I don't know what you're saying about that, but it sounds legit. Shit. I'm sure
Spartan
it funds
says
a whole bunch of things that I don't want it to fund.
Spartan says there are always people with power meddling in the government. Government is the only force that can make the market close to fair. Elephant Man says no silver liquidity in London. This could destabilize all gold and silver contracts as Reddit silver short squeeze continues.
Oh, right, they're
Get
moving
silver.
on silver now, right? That's right.
I got a bunch of silver a couple years ago, and I'm happy.
I only have like one piece of it, but I
Wow.
guess it's worth something.
I got
You need to
bricks,
get
bro.
30 in order
Nice.
to do something worthwhile.
Yeah.
Historically, anyway.
Okay, well, fuck me, right? I
Yeah,
got lots of crypto, so who cares?
Me too.
Ron Helm says the government makes nothing fair. They pick winners and losers. Their buddies win, we lose. Ron is deep throating the black pill currently.
I don't know if that's a euphemism, but if it is, hey, man,
Hey, man, at least you're discriminating.
Yeah.
Let's see. Spartan says that is just people abusing government power. You need people with morals in government with power to stop that.
Fuck you! No! No, I can't now I can't argue. No, I can't not argue that. This whole we need the right people in charge thing is fucking ridiculous. People will be corrupted when they have power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's a real fucking thing. If you give people power over you, they will be corrupted. It doesn't matter where they fucking came from or how moral they were before they got the power. You're adding a fucking complex on top of people that will always corrupt them every single time you give them power over others. That is complete bullshit. Wake up. I'm sorry, man.
Right.
I hate that.
Right. But you got to consider the simple fact that the rest of the world, for the most part, even when you talk about socialism, we look out and we see the bulk of the world practicing some form of socialism, some form of government control. And we are currently in a place where we're finding out that ours doesn't appear to be working the way it should be because it's corrupt.
None of them work.
And so so everything on the outside looks attractive. That's why socialist practices, policies like that, those look attractive because they're happening out in the world. And
but they're not, though. They're not.
People are distant enough they don't see the issues, right? They don't see the problems. They just see that the rest of the world is doing it.
But also,
so maybe we should adopt it here.
They also categorize things that are as socialism that are not socialism. Also, we've also live in a world where people, like I said earlier, we have this idea that the only way that it can be is the way that it ever has been, and that means there has to be a government. That means there has to be some sort of overarching somebody telling everybody what to do, and everybody just goes back to the same thing. Oh, it's been like this, so therefore it must stay like this. And this whole it just doesn't make sense. Even if I agree with the part that you said, Robert, about how the outside looks attractive, which I do. Why is it that there's only one type of outside alternative? It's either this government or that government. Well, how about I don't like either of them? Why is it that more people don't come to the conclusion that maybe one of two options is not the fucking best choice? Why is it Sophie's fucking choice every time, man? That makes no goddamn sense.
You're just too picky.
Maybe I don't want to kill either of my fucking kids.
Don't be so picky. Just conform. Don't be picky.
Yeah,
just conform.
Right.
God.
Well, since this is going to start another quick screaming match, I'm going to just hit Spartan's last two here, and then we've got to get the hell out of here at some point. He says, UBI is not dumb. It is capitalism that does not start at zero. Human life has intrinsic value. And then he also says socialism can be good or evil. It comes down to the details. People want to gain from the collective power of humanity.
UBI is the antithetical to capitalism, because in order for capitalism to work, you need to actually earn something for what you produce. And if you're giving people something for just existing, that's not fucking capitalism.
Yeah, more fatties is not good.
Yeah.
More fat. That's my main thing I'm trying to avoid. Just more fat people.
Facts.
I can't even get around them in the store.
I've got Chris Tuttle says we all look like a bunch of patriots, so that's awesome.
Damn. What's up, Chris?
Elephant Man says Christy Gnome 2024.
No females.
It's the only play against Camel Toe.
No. I mean, there's many plays. But no females.
All right. Let's get out of here.
19th.
Let's get out of here, guys. First off, I want the rest of you guys to plug your stuff here. Steven, I know you said you had a hard out, and we're running up on that, so why don't you start?
Yeah, so I'm follow Ignoramus Media on YouTube. That's where I'm streaming from right now. I still have one strike that expires on March 2nd on my main channel. But yeah, I mean, I'd stream basically 7 days a week. I'm doing a stream with Drone Tech Politics on his channel after this about aliens, Antarctica, and like future Nazi weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, you can just go to my Linktree. It's Linktree Ignoramus. And you can find me everywhere, but I'm very easy to find if you just type in Steven Ignoramus into the Google box or DuckDuckGo, and I don't know, I do news, interviews, music, Christian stuff, blah blah blah.
And the Ignoramus Media YouTube channel is linked in the description below. Robert, tell us where they can find you.
You can find us, The Generational Gap, on YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter at The Gen Gap P. We do shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and they're kind of fun. I mean, I have fun, but it's something to do if you're, it's better than just sitting and scratching your balls. So, come check out The Generational Gap. It's something you can do while you're scratching your balls. I know that.
That's fair.
I mean,
I haven't stopped since this interview started.
but right. But yeah, so we'll be streaming Monday night with our Fill in the Gap, which we try and start the week off with a little bit of funny, something to laugh at, shit that stupid people are doing. So check us out there on YouTube at Generational Gap and D Live.
It's also a fun thing to watch after the Red Ned show because you guys are on like right after I am.
Right.
Cool.
Keep that network going.
Mr. Behavior, tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, so I bombed the Twitter. No longer on Twitter. So if you want to find me on social media, you can go to minds.com/Mr. Behavior, MR Behavior. I'm on Minds because it's just fun. I talk about video games a lot because I really like video games. So if you also like video games, you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/LOCSTAKES. That's Lokes Takes because I am Chris Lokes, a.k.a. Mr. Behavior. I'm also now apparently I'm on Trovo because while we were doing this, I signed up. So I'm going to be fucking streaming on Trovo. Like literally right after this, probably be playing some fucking Blaze Blue. So if you want to find me on there, you can go to trovo.live/Mr. Behavior, all spelled out, Mr. Behavior. You can literally just type in MR Behavior or Mr. Behavior into Google and you'll find me. And then I'm also on Twitch. I usually do streams on Twitch on Friday nights. We'll do Fight Game Fridays on my channel. So you can check us out if you like fighting games.
All right, and that is going to be it. And of course, Ignoramus Media, the Generational Gap YouTube, and the Mr. Behavior Twitch are all linked in the description, along with the current RRC channel. Make sure you check back with rrcpodcast.com, though, because we don't know how much longer that one's going to last here. So we are going to head on out of here.
Freedomscoop.com, y'all.
Yeah, with the new freedomscoop.com is going to be coming up here too. So check that out. I got a plug for that as well. So thanks everybody who came by and chatted with us today. Everybody who kept us honest, who kept the conversation going with us as well. And thank you to the wonderful panel here who came by and talked with us about what it looks like, or what it looks like it could look like in the Biden presidency. So it's going to be an interesting 4 years, folks. But make sure that you keep your spirits up on that because it's all going to be good. You can join us and finish the conversation down in the description. You can find the Discord server. You can come hang out with us. And there's a Guilded server to come. Elaine's actually been working on that all day. So we're going to move off Discord because it's kind of starting to go to shit as well. So go and check us out over on Guilded as well. You can find me over on Twitter. That is at EdsBlog Twitter with a 1 in place of the I. You can find me over on Gab at JEdgar101. So go and check me out over there. Lastly, you can go check out freedomscoop.com. Currently under construction, but we carry the Daily Ignoramus, the R-Rated Conservative, the Breakdown with Birkenhoff, the Brockles and Rich Show, and the Generational Gap. So come on over there, check us out. Once we're back up and the dust is settled, pick up some of our swag and help us support great creators and help us network out. My big dream is to sign the check and get rid of the Daily Wire. So the more of you guys go and check that out, the closer I'm going to get to that dream. And lastly, never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. And for the R-Rated Conservative, for Stephen Ignoramus, for Mr. Behavior, for Robert from the Generational Gap, my name is J. Edgar, saying good night. Good night.